Chapter 735. The third eight-clawed flying bat's aura continued to rise. It was about to step into the Emperor realm, but it was firmly suppressed by the Silver Fox King. The power of the spatial divine characters continued to be unleashed, and all kinds of divine abilities were launched at the beast. Jiaozuren came to help and used all kinds of offensive divine abilities to deal with the beast. Jiaozuren's current strength was mid-stage King Realm. This person had actually just broken through after Jing Tianxing's self-explosion. No wonder he could still retain his combat strength. It seemed that apart from his techniques, the reason was that he had just broken through. Under the combined attacks of the two, the last eight-clawed flying bat was finally on the verge of death. Intentionally or unintentionally, the Silver Fox King lured the eight-clawed flying bat away from the final throne hall. To him, distance didn't matter. After all, he comprehended the spatial divine characters and could reach the entrance of the final throne hall in an instant. On the other hand, Jiaozuren comprehended the elemental divine characters and the divine characters of life. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't compare to the Silver Fox King. Even if they had to share the great desolate rank martial skill, the Silver Fox King still wanted to obtain it himself. After all, obtaining the final throne hall would mean winning the Red Emperor's mysterious reward. At this moment, there were only 10 breaths of time left before the Red Emperor's illusory realm closed. Now, do it! Long Yu's eyes lit up as he gave the order. Jiang Yixing, Dugu Yijian, and Shu Chan immediately soared into the sky and rushed towards Jiaozuren. Their target was actually Jiaozuren. Long Yu's mission for Shu Chan was very simple: stall Jiaozuren. He felt that there was something strange about Jiaozuren. To be able to survive Jing Tianxing's self-detonation, he definitely had some ability, so he had to be on guard. As for the Silver Fox King, Long Yu would deal with him personally. Anyway, his ultimate goal wasn't to kill the Silver Fox King, but to obtain the final throne hall. Ants are coming. You go and deal with them. The Silver Fox King glanced at Shu Chan and the others before giving the order to Jiaozuren. Jiaozuren frowned slightly. He had stepped into the mid-stage King realm and wanted to seize the final throne hall in one fell swoop. He had even reserved some of his strength to fight the Silver Fox King. But now, the Silver Fox King wanted him to deal with Shu Chan and the other two. Jiaozuren had naturally investigated Shu Chan. Her strength was extraordinary, and it was impossible to kill her in the next 10 breaths. Even if he had stepped into the intermediate stage of the King realm, it was still impossible. However, it seemed that Shu Chan and the other two were here for him. Courting death, Jiaozuren was infuriated. He felt that Shu Chan and the other two were simply sick in the head. Why did they come out at this time to cause trouble? Could it be that they still had hope of obtaining the final treasured palace? What a joke. Even if he didn't make a move with the Silver Fox King around, how could these ants have a chance in the final treasure palace? Do it! Shu Chan, Dugu Yijian, and Jiang Yixing immediately attacked. Azura divine characters, Yellow Springs divine characters, and Star divine characters burst out. All kinds of divine abilities flew towards Jiaozuren. There were only 5 breaths of time left. Seeing that Jiaozuren and the other 3 were facing off, the Silver Fox King's lips curled up. Of course, he knew Jiaozuren's plan. Now that Shu Chan and the other 2 had appeared, they just happened to hold Jiaozuren back. Die. The Silver Fox King blasted out a move and finally killed the last King Boundary Guardian Beast. At this moment, Long Yu moved. Dragon Bone Break. Long Yu entered the ancient Dragon Bone Pagoda and immediately activated the Dragon Bone Break. It didn't matter if the entire ancient Dragon Bone Pagoda was destroyed because it was just an illusion. The direction in which he activated the Dragon Bone Break wasn't where the Silver Fox King was, but the entrance of the final treasure palace. Boom! The ancient Dragon Bone Pagoda turned into a terrifying whirlwind and rushed towards the entrance of the final treasure palace. At this moment, the Silver Fox King's figure flashed and appeared at the entrance of the final treasure palace. He felt Long Yu's aura, but he didn't expect Long Yu's attack to be so fierce. The Dragon Bone Break was a terrifying move that could kill a King Realm expert, Long Yao, in one move. The Silver Fox King tore apart the space and arrived at the entrance of the final treasure palace. Just as he was about to wave his hand to kill Long Yu, he was greeted by the sharp top of a pagoda. Then he was sent flying by the rapidly spinning ancient dragon bone pagoda. Sent flying. It was a simple prediction. Long Yu knew that the Silver Fox King would appear at the entrance of the final treasure palace after killing the third King Realm Beast. Therefore, he directly used the dragon bone break in that direction. As expected, the Silver Fox King, who had just torn apart the space and arrived at the entrance of the final treasure palace, was sent flying by the ancient dragon bone pagoda before he could gather any strength. Courting death. As a late-stage King Realm expert, how could the Silver Fox King be sent flying so easily? In his eyes, Long Yu was just an ant that he didn't need to care about. In fact, it only took an instant for him to stabilize his body. He raised his hand, and the Space Divine text exploded again, bringing him back to the entrance of the final treasure palace. However, he didn't expect that the ancient dragon bone pagoda would explode. It would disintegrate. The power of the endless netherworld divine text and siphon divine text was completely unleashed at that instant. The power of the origin divine text stored at the top of the ancient dragon bone pagoda was much stronger than the Silver Fox King's space power. The Silver Fox King used the space divine text and wanted to flash to the entrance of the final treasure palace. However, he didn't expect the ancient dragon bone pagoda to explode and disintegrate. The endless power of the divine text formed a turbulent flow that messed up the Silver Fox King's space divine text. Not to mention teleporting to the entrance of the final treasure palace. The Silver Fox King had to use all his strength to resist the terrifying turbulent flow of origin divine text if he didn't want to be devoured. This was the disintegration of the ancient dragon bone pagoda. Although the ancient dragon bone pagoda was only a great desolate level weapon, it was still the weapon of the Jiuyo Dragon Emperor. Now that it had exploded, how could a mere King Realm expert withstand it? If this was the real world, Long Yu naturally wouldn't bear to do this. However, he was in the Red Emperor's illusion. The ancient dragon bone pagoda had only disintegrated in the illusion. It was still there in the real world. This was also the reason why Jing Tianxing had self-destructed without hesitation. Otherwise, who would give up their life for the sake of winning the competition? Long Yu's stunning collision and the subsequent disintegration of the ancient dragon bone pagoda stunned the Silver Fox King for a moment. What was going on? Long Yu stepped into the final treasure palace with a single step. Even if the Silver Fox King used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to break through the turbulent flow of origin divine text in a breath's time. He didn't even dare to use his space divine text, and could only use all his strength to resist the turbulent flow of origin divine text. In just an instant, Long Yu had already exited the ancient dragon bone pagoda and stepped into the final treasure palace. The final winner was actually Long Yu. Not far away, Shu Chan, Jiang Yixing, and Dugu Yijian's eyes lit up. He did it. Long Yu actually did it. This guy is amazing. As for Jiao Zuoren, who was being held back by the three of them, he was in shock and disbelief. He didn't expect the Silver Fox King to be knocked away by a brat in the secret realm. Moreover, he couldn't return after being knocked away. How could this world be so magical? However, this was the truth. The last breath of time passed, and the entire Red Emperor's illusion finally closed. Long Yu stepped into the final treasure palace at the last moment and obtained the Jade Scroll that recorded the desolate level upper grade martial arts technique. He also obtained 10,000 fantasy points. This made the Heavenly Mandate Manor unquestionably the first place. What would the reward points that the Red Emperor was going to give out be? Long Yu was looking forward to it. North Snow Imperial City, underground martial arts arena. When the two Red Emperor's illusions closed at the same time, more than 1,000 people instantly woke up. Everyone's consciousness returned to them. When their consciousness returned, many people opened their eyes. There were all kinds of expressions in their eyes. Some were happy, some were regretful, and some were angry. More than 1,000 people experienced different things in the Red Emperor's illusions. However, the final result was finally out. The illusions collapsed, and the things that each force could obtain were confirmed. Martial arts techniques? Elixir recipes? Combat weapon molds? At the heavenly mandate manor, Long Yu opened his eyes. At the same time, the people around him opened their eyes as well, including Shu Chan and the other 5 people from Shure Manor. Damn it, that bullsh Astros T Silver Fox King actually attacked his own people. Man Xin cursed immediately. He was still immersed in the scene where he was instantly killed by the Silver Fox King's area of effect magical power. He had no idea what happened in the end. Not only Man Xin, but Chi Hua, Huamei Lord Yunxing, and Fu Tsubing also looked indignant. Just like Man Xin, they were instantly killed by the Silver Fox King's area of effect magical power. Of course, they were angry. One had to know that they were helping the Silver Fox King to deal with Jing Tianxing. You still don't know the most infuriating thing. Xiao Xing, who was standing at the side, also looked terrible. She said in a low voice, "After you all died, the Silver Fox King said that the promise he gave us before was invalid. He would not cooperate with us at all. In other words, even if he obtained the martial arts techniques in the final treasure palace, he would not share them with us. Furthermore, after Jing Tianxing self-destructed, I went to heal the Silver Fox King, but I was also instantly killed by him." Xiao Ziying's eyes were filled with anger. She had always been a martial cultivator of the pugilistic world, but even among the various martial cultivators, she had never seen such a shameless person. It was simply disgusting. "What? You healed him, but he still killed you?" Man Xin and the others were speechless. They all felt that they were pitiful enough to be instantly killed by the area of effect magical power when they helped others fight. They never expected that Xiao Ziying would still be killed when she went to heal the Silver Fox King. Moreover, from Xiao Ziying's words, the Silver Fox King did not even care about them and did not intend to share the techniques with them. This was outrageous. What did White Snow say before? "Brother Long, what happened next?" Instantly, Man Xin and the others, including Xiao Ziying, looked at Long Yu, who was in the middle. They could not wait to know what happened next. When they looked over, they saw Long Yu, Shu Chan, General Yi Xing, and even Dugu Yijian, who had a straight face. All 4 of them had smiles on their faces. "The final treasure palace is mine." Long Yu spoke softly. Just these few words caused Man Xin and the rest to be dumbstruck. "It's Long Yu's. It's really Brother Long's. Big brother, why are you so arrogant?" Chapter 736. The entire underground martial arts field suddenly became lively. Even though the Red Emperor and Yu Hanxin were in the seats of honor, it did not stop many people from discussing after they came out. This was for sure. Everyone wanted to know the final outcome of the Red Emperor's illusory realm. Did anyone obtain an upper-grade, Great Desolate level martial arts technique and enter the final treasure palace? In the crowd, the people around Long Yu were all delighted. After all, they already knew that Long Yu had entered the final treasure palace and obtained an upper-grade, Great Desolate level martial arts technique. He also gave the Heavenly Mandate Manor 10,000 points. The reward for the first place would definitely belong to the Heavenly Mandate Manor. As for the other places, many people's faces were pale. The most obvious was in the direction of the Silver Fox Manor. The genius Silver Fox King, who was sitting in the middle of the 5 people, was shocked and pale. Until now, he still had not recovered from the scene before the Red Emperor's illusory realm was closed. Seeing that he was about to obtain the final treasure palace with an absolute advantage, he did not expect Long Yu to use such a move at the last moment. Of course, he knew that Long Yu had a Great Desolate level Ancient Pagoda Soldier. But he never knew that the Ancient Pagoda Soldier could be used in such a way. Hee, Big Brother Silver Fox, I wonder what the reward for the first place in the illusory realm will be. It is a reward given by the Red Emperor. It must be extraordinary. Beside the Silver Fox King, a young genius from the Silver Fox Manor said with an expectant smile. This genius was one of the 4 Seven Realms divinity prodigies who followed the Silver Fox King. Although he was forced out, they believed that the Silver Fox King must have obtained the final treasure palace. Another young genius on the side also smiled. This reward will definitely be extraordinary. Sir Crimson Emperor is one of the 5 strongest great emperors of Shun Wu world. It is already a blessing that we can see the Red Emperor with our own eyes in this life. Shut up, all of you. The Silver Fox King was in a very bad mood, especially after hearing the words of the 2 people beside him. Long Yu was only at the 4 divine abilities realm, but he was already so powerful. He even obtained the final treasure palace in one fell swoop and became #1 in this illusion realm contest. What about the trash from the Silver Fox Manor? Each and every one of them claimed to be geniuses, but at the critical moment, they could only become cannon fodder. They were completely useless. In comparison, how monstrous was Long Yu? Previously, the Silver Fox King did not put Long Yu in his eyes at all. Only now did he realize that he had underestimated Long Yu. Why does Lady Yu Hanshin value Long Yu so much? This was not without reason. After being reprimanded by the Silver Fox King, the 4 geniuses beside him were instantly rendered speechless. They looked at each other in dismay. What was going on with Big Brother Silver Fox? If he had successfully obtained the final treasure palace, Big Brother Silver Fox shouldn't be so angry. Could it be that the final treasure palace was taken away by someone else? Thinking of this, the expressions of the 4 people changed. They all looked into the distance, where the 5 people from the Heavenly Path Manor were, and stared at Jing Tianxing. That damn Jing Tianxing actually took away the final treasure palace? The 4 people's hearts trembled, and they immediately did not dare to say another word. They were extremely afraid of the Silver Fox King. If they spoke carelessly and made the Silver Fox King even angrier, it would not be good. Little did they know that in the direction of the 5 people from the Sky Hall, Jing Tianxing, who was leading the group, did not have the complacency of obtaining the final treasure palace. In the end, Jing Tianxing self-destructed, and it was certain that the Silver Fox King was already seriously injured. It was absolutely impossible for him to obtain the final treasure palace. He raised his head and looked in the direction of the 5 people from the Silver Fox Manor. When he saw the Silver Fox King's ashen face, he immediately knew that his guess was right. The Silver Fox King did not obtain the final treasure palace in the end. No one obtained the final treasure palace. In this case, it's hard to say who will be first in points. Jing Tianxing thought to himself. He had led his people to obtain 2 palaces with 1,000 points and many more with 100 points. His total points was more than 2,500. With such a result, he wondered if he could obtain first place. The points awarded by the Red Emperor would definitely be extraordinary. However, after Jing Tianxing glanced at the Silver Fox King, he felt a little strange. It shouldn't be. Why would the Silver Fox King occasionally look in the direction of the Heavenly Mandate Manor with resentment and anger in his eyes? On the contrary, the Silver Fox King did not even look at Jing Tianxing. Something was wrong. Something was wrong. Jing Tianxing would never have thought that Long Yu would be the one to obtain the final treasure palace. In the crowd, the young genius from the Autumn Manor, Jiao Zuoren, had broken through to the mid-stage king realm in the illusion of the Red Emperor, but his expression was not good. His cultivation had reached a bottleneck, and breaking through was a matter of course. Although he was happy, it was not a big deal. In the end, the final treasure palace was taken away by Long Yu, which made Jiao Zuoren extremely frustrated. That was an upper-grade, Great Desolation level martial arts technique. It was lost just like that. However, it was not necessarily impossible to obtain this martial arts technique. Jiao Zuoren had an idea. He looked in the direction of Long Yu and had a plan in his mind. At the same time, his eyes met the Silver Fox King's. Both of them saw the meaning in each other's eyes and secretly nodded. An agreement. Didn't Long Yu confirm an agreement with Bai Shui before? No matter which party obtained the upper grade, Great Desolation level martial arts technique, they had to share it. Presumably, with the Silver Fox Manor, Autumn Manor, Snow Leopard Manor, and other forces working together, this lad would not dare to hide it. Right? Compared to the Silver Fox King, Jiao Zuoren, Jing Tianxing, and the others, there were many people who were anxious. Snow Leopard Manors by Shui and the Demon Manor's Flaming Lion King were both affected by Jing Tianxing's self-destruction in the last battle. One was directly obliterated, the other lost his combat power and even fell into a deep sleep. They did not know what the final outcome would be. Now that they had returned to the underground martial arts practice field, the two of them knew that the situation was not good when they saw the Silver Fox King's expression. Obviously, the Silver Fox King had failed. However, what exactly was going on? Apart from these people, there were more people in the field who were filled with regret and annoyance. For example, the 5 geniuses from the Dragon Mansion, including Long Yao, the Black Flame King from the Spiritual Flame Manor, and Yu Xianlan from the Falling Moon Mansion, who was obliterated by Long Yu, were all very pale. They did not even get to see the final treasure palace before they were eliminated. How could they accept this? Not only that, for example, the Black Flame King, Long Yao, and the others had only obtained extremely pitiful points for their own forces, not even 100 points. Not to mention gains. The Red Emperor's illusion this time was a complete humiliation to them. However, the Red Emperor obviously did not give them too much time to chat. This trip to the illusion is almost over. The old voice of the Red Emperor sounded. His tone was extremely amiable as he said with a smile, "I believe that everyone here has gained something. I will not say much about this. Next, I will give out the points for this illusion. Next, I will announce that the Heavenly Mandate Manor has a total of 11,675 points for the illusionary competition. Although the Red Emperor's cultivation was extremely terrifying, his personality was very peaceful and approachable. He did not give off the feeling that he was high and mighty. He only said this sentence, and the entire underground martial arts practice field became so quiet that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. First place, the Heavenly Mandate Manor, more than 10,000 points. Didn't this mean that the Heavenly Mandate Manor had won the final treasure palace and obtained an upper grade desolate level martial arts technique? How is this possible? More than 1,000 people in the field looked at the Heavenly Mandate Manor not far away and saw the genius leading the 5 people from the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Long Yu. Before the Imperial Capital Grand event, not only did Long Yu lead the Heavenly Mandate Manor into the top 100, but he also teamed up with Shu Chan to defeat Long Yao of the King Path Secret Realm. Even though Long Yao was only in the early stage of the King Realm, this was enough for Long Yu to be proud. But this was not all. Now, in the Red Emperor's illusion, Long Yu had actually won the final treasure palace and obtained 10,000 points, making the Heavenly Mandate Manor the absolute first place. When the Red Emperor announced this result, everyone in the field was filled with disbelief. Yes, they could not believe that a kid in the 4 divine realms could actually obtain the final treasure palace. One had to know that the cultivators who participated in the Red Emperor's illusion competition this time were in the late stage of the King Realm, the Silver Fox King, Jing Tianxing. In addition to the 2 of them, there were many in the intermediate stage of the King Realm, such as the Giant Elephant King, the Fire Lion King, and so on. If these people were to take action, which one of them wouldn't be able to casually exterminate Long Yu? But the final treasure palace was Long Yu's. No one knew what exactly happened. When everyone looked at the Silver Fox King and Jing Tianxing, the 2 strongest people in the field, they found that their faces were extremely ugly. The Silver Fox King was fine, as he was already mentally prepared. As for Jing Tianxing, his face instantly became extremely pale. The final treasure palace was won by Long Yu. The points that Jing Tianxing had been thinking about for the first place were gone just like that. Needless to say, the desolate level upper grade martial arts technique that he originally thought no one would obtain was really obtained by someone. Moreover, he had never thought that the person would be Long Yu. If it was the Silver Fox King, Jing Tianxing would still be able to accept it. But Long Yu? He was just a kid in the 4 divine realms. Who did he think he was? Even the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor did not have a cultivator in the King Realm. Oh no, there was a 4 martial arts cultivator from the Jianghu. He seemed to be called Gu Yixian or something. However, this Gu Yixian was just a martial arts cultivator from the Jianghu. He must have paid a great price to be hired by Long Yu. It was impossible for him to stay in the heavenly mandate manner all the time. Jing Tianxing had to admit that Gu Yixian was very strong because, like him, he was also in the late stage of the king realm. He had already condensed the power of the source in his inner world. But no matter how strong Gu Yixian was, he could not compare to a cultivator in the Emperor realm. The heavenly mandate manor did not even have a cultivator in the Emperor realm. Why would they need the desolate level upper grade martial arts technique? Chapter 737. No matter what the Silver Fox King, Jing Tianxing, and the others thought, the heavenly mandate manor was undoubtedly the champion of the Red Emperor's illusory realm. My little friend Long Yu, take this. This is the reward for the heavenly mandate manor for winning first place. The Red Emperor looked at where Long Yu was, and his eyes were full of gratification. He raised his hand, and a stream of light flew toward Long Yu. Then, something like a token appeared in Long Yu's mind. This is... Long Yu's heart moved, and 3 words jumped out of his mind. The Red Emperor's token. Along with the Red Emperor's token, the Red Emperor's token could be used to enter the illusory realm of the 5 Emperors. The illusory realm of the 5 Emperors was the ultimate treasure house of the alliance of 5 Emperors. There were many benefits to stepping into it. Not only did it record many powerful martial arts techniques, but it also had many wonderful effects. Once one stepped into it, his strength would increase greatly. As for more things, Long Yu did not get an introduction, but it should be something extraordinary. Only the champion with the highest score could get the Red Emperor's token. Thank you, Senior Red Emperor. Long Yu smiled and stood up. He cupped his fists and bowed in the direction of the Red Emperor to show his respect. The Red Emperor smiled and waved his hand. In an instant, the gazes of everyone turned towards Long Yu. Their eyes were filled with a fiery passion. They did not know what the Scarlet Emperor had given to Long Yu. Could it be a martial arts technique that surpassed the desolate level? An ancient level martial arts technique? In the North Snow Dynasty, no one even knew about the Red Emperor's token. So, even if Long Yu said it, others would not know what it was for. The rewards that others could think of were things like martial arts techniques and elixirs. Unfortunately, the reward that Long Yu received was far more than ordinary martial arts techniques and elixirs. Martial arts techniques? Long Yu did not lack them. Medicinal pills? Long Yu had 150,000 Xinbi on him, enough for him to purchase all kinds of desolate grade pills. Combat soldier? Long Yu was not lacking in anything. He was lacking in battle soldiers. Moreover, even if the Red Emperor rewarded Long Yu with a battle weapon, it would not be able to surpass the Nethervoid Dragon Blade. Long Yu basically had no need for a battle weapon at the moment. However, Long Yu had only just learned about the Red Emperor's token and knew that it was definitely a treasure to him. The illusion realm of the 5 Emperors is the best training ground in the entire Shenwu world. The more talented a cultivator is, the faster they can improve and the longer they can stay there. It could be said that once anyone stepped into the fantasy world of the 5 Emperors, their strength would definitely change drastically after they came out. However, it wasn't easy to get a spot to enter the fantasy world of the 5 Emperors. Aside from the Red Emperor, the other 4 Emperors could also give out tokens, allowing the geniuses of the Shenwu world to step into the fantasy world of the 5 Emperors. The resources of the fantasy world of the 5 Emperors were limited. It was destined that not too many people could enter. Only the peerless geniuses were qualified to enter and train inside. Long Yu did not tell them about the Red Emperor's token. After all, having an upper desolate grade martial arts technique was already quite good for the people of the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura Manor. Second place, Shura Manor, 2,950 points. Lady Shu Chan, catch. Then, the Red Emperor raised his head and looked at Shu Chan, who was not far from Long Yu. He smiled, raised his hand, and another ray of light streaked across. The second place was actually Shu Chan. This was something that even Long Yu did not expect. It seemed that Shu Chan had led Dugu Yijian and the others to plunder from all over the place. They had seized 2 palaces with 1,000 points, as well as nearly 10 palaces with 100 points. This efficiency was not bad. In fact, if Long Yu did not encounter you Xian Lan, plundering the palaces with 1,000 points and 100 points would still be very smooth. Unfortunately, Long Yu encountered one king-level cultivator after another along the way, which wasted too much time. If he did not get the final royal palace, he would have missed the opportunity to get the Red Emperor's token. It's the ancient token of the 5 emperors. Shu Chan's voice quietly came into Long Yu's ears. You can use this token to exchange for an ancient martial arts technique in the alliance of 5 emperors. The second place could actually get an ancient martial arts technique. Long Yu was shocked. Luckily, Shu Chan got the second place. Otherwise, it would have been taken by other people from the North Snow Dynasty. From this, it could be seen that the Red Emperor's token that Long Yu got was definitely worth more than an ancient martial arts technique. The third place was the Sky Hall, then the Dragon Hall, and so on and so forth. What surprised Long Yu was that Ruoshui County actually got the 7th place. It also got the Red Emperor's points as a reward. It was quite a good harvest. Ruoshui County is not in the top 100. It entered another Red Emperor's illusory realm, but it actually got almost 2,000 points. It seems that Sikong is quite strong. Long Yu nodded to himself. The great desolate pill that he gave to treat Sikong, he happened to be fully recovered the day before the Red Emperor's illusory realm opened. Thus, Sikong represented Ruoshui County in the illusory realm contest. Although he didn't know what methods he used, Sikong did lead a team to kill a King Realm Guardian Beast and obtained a palace with 1,000 points. It was really rare. The Red Emperor's illusory realm contest will end here. Everyone, work hard. After the Red Emperor said this, he stood up with a smile and left with Yu Hanxin. Before leaving, the Red Emperor and Yu Hanxin cast a meaningful glance at Long Yu. Obviously, Long Yu's performance in the Red Emperor's illusory realm had successfully made the Red Emperor notice him. With 4 divine power realm cultivations, he repeatedly defeated King Realm experts, and even obtained the final treasured palace from the Silver Fox King. This wasn't something an ordinary martial cultivator could do. It was completely normal for him to attract the attention of the Red Emperor. Seeing the Red Emperor leave, everyone in the underground martial arts field was ready to disperse and do their own things. Shu Chan, we got 3 great desolate level martial skills. Long Yu stopped Shu Chan and told her about the 3 martial skills. Great desolate level lower grade, Merak Steps. Great desolate level middle grade, Migrez Star Shield. And finally, great desolate level upper grade, Dubhi Chi Guide. Among them, this Dubhi Chi Guide is actually not a combat martial skill, but a cultivation martial skill. This is the first time I've seen it. It is said that after cultivating this Dubhi Chi Guide, one's cultivation speed will increase by a lot. If one can comprehend it to the transformation realm, one's cultivation speed will increase by 3 times. Long Yu explained, if one wanted to learn these great desolate level martial skills, they could only comprehend them from the jade slips made by the strong ones. Later, the Red Emperor would send the martial skill jade slips in the real world to the leaders of each force. Now Long Yu could not teach Shu Chan these martial skills, but he could introduce them to Shu Chan so that she could be mentally prepared. The Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura Manor were like birds of a feather. Of course, they would share what they got unconditionally. I also got a great desolate level middle grade martial skill, Fekta Star Fist. I will record it and send it to the Heavenly Mandate Manor. In addition, there are some elixir recipes and battle weapon molds. Shu Chan smiled and said, this time, the Shura Manor has made a profit. Great desolate level upper grade martial skill is not something that anyone can get. It's a win-win situation. The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up as he said with a smile. The Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura Manor had gained a lot. Everyone was happy. Apart from Long Yu and Shu Chan, everyone else was also in a good mood. However, just as both parties were about to leave the underground martial arts arena, an uninvited guest flew over. Long Yu, the Silver Fox King shouted. The power of space divine characters flickered, and he arrived in front of Long Yu. He glared at Long Yu like a tiger eyeing its prey. At the same time, many other people also flew over. Jiao Zhuren, the Fire Lion King. In addition, there was another King Realm strong man who had also accepted Snow White's covenant. However, this person was killed by Jing Tianxing at the beginning and did not have the chance to meet Long Yu and the others. Silver Fox King, what can I do for you? Seeing so many people flying over to stop him, Long Yu knew that they did not come with good intentions. However, he smiled faintly and asked directly. The Red Emperor and Yu Hanxin had not gone far. It was impossible for the Silver Fox King and the others to do anything out of line. Before the last battle with Jing Tianxing, did we have a covenant? The Silver Fox King looked down at Long Yu with an arrogant expression. According to the covenant, all forces will unconditionally share the upper-grade desolate level martial arts techniques we obtain. So, tomorrow, we will visit the Heavenly Mandate Manor together and take what we deserve. As soon as the Silver Fox King said this, Jiao Zuoren and the Fire Lion King, who were next to him, released a strong aura. Obviously, they wanted to put pressure on Long Yu. As for the people behind Long Yu, they were all filled with righteous indignation. Covenant? Bullsh *T. Back then, the Silver Fox King was so arrogant that he killed everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. He even killed Qiao Xing, who was healing him. It was certain that if the Silver Fox King had obtained the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, he would not have shared it with Long Yu, Shu Chan, and the others. But now, Long Yu had obtained the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, and the Silver Fox King had come to talk to him about the covenant. Is that so? Covenant? What covenant? Long Yu squinted his eyes and smiled casually. I remember that Snow White once mentioned a covenant to me. However, didn't you personally deny this covenant? Speaking of this, Long Yu's tone turned cold. You even wanted to kill everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura Manor in front of the Final Treasure Palace. Now, you're talking to me about a covenant? Hee hee. When the Silver Fox King heard Long Yu's words, he immediately chuckled. His laughter was filled with disdain. It is your honor that I, the Silver Fox King, formed an alliance with you. Now, you don't even want it? I don't need a shameless person like you to give me face. Long Yu said faintly, get out of the way. Since you don't acknowledge the covenant and even killed the people of the Heavenly Mandate Manor, what right do you have to ask me for the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique? Brother Long Yu, let me give you a piece of advice. Before the Silver Fox King could speak again, Jiao Zuoren, who was beside him, also said with disdain, hand over the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, and we will protect the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Otherwise, we can't guarantee whether the Heavenly Mandate Manor will still exist next year. Chapter 738. Naturally, Long Yu would not be threatened by someone like Jiao Zuoren. He completely ignored Jiao Zuoren's words and waved his hand. Let's go. I can't be bothered with these shameless people. After saying this, he led Shu Chan, Man Xian, and the rest of the group around the Silver Fox King and left the underground practice field. How dare he not give him face? Does he really think that he is the strongest in the world just because he won first place in the illusory contest? This Long Yu is really arrogant. The Fire Lion King snorted coldly. He did not know who was the arrogant one first. The few of them had come to Long Yu in an overbearing manner to demand a desolate high-grade martial technique. Was this not arrogance? To deal with these arrogant people, Long Yu could not be too arrogant. It doesn't matter. The superior desolate level martial arts technique is mine. A cold light flashed in the Silver Fox King's eyes. He waved his hand and left. Jiao Zuoren, the Fire Lion King, and the rest looked at each other and nodded. Then they left as well. To them, it was too easy to snatch something from Long Yu. Long Yu led the group out of the underground practice field. But before he could take a few steps, another group of people came to stop him. Jing Tianxing. Long Yu stopped in his tracks and looked at the Genius King Realm expert in front of him without any expression on his face. Humph, do you know why I am here? Jing Tianxing glanced at Long Yu and said proudly, if you don't hand over the superior desolate level martial arts technique, your Heavenly Mandate Manor will not be able to keep it for long. Why are there always some idiots who think that they're the best in the world and others should give them all the benefits? Long Yu laughed cheerfully. Jing Tianxing, if you want me to hand over the superior desolate level martial arts technique, I can. But please take out something of equal value in exchange. How about 1 million Shinbi? Using 1 million Shinbi to purchase a grand desolate grade martial technique was definitely worth it. Even if 1 million Shinbi was a huge burden to the Skyway Manor, a single grand desolate grade martial technique was enough to make all the experts in the manor stronger. Paying 1 million divine coins for this was definitely worth it. That was why the giant Elephant King and the others agreed to cooperate with Jing Tianxing. Unfortunately, they failed at the last moment, and Long Yu obtained the superior desolate grade martial technique. Long Yu had inquired about Jing Tianxing before and had seen him with his own eyes. Of course, he knew this person's character, which was that he was extremely arrogant. So, he wanted Jing Tianxing to fork out 1 million Shinbi? That's impossible. You are courting death. As expected, Jing Tianxing's expression immediately darkened. Among the younger generation of the entire North Snow Empire, there's no one who dares to negotiate with me. Jing Tianxing. A fixed price of 10,000 divine coins. In any case, you won't lose anything by handing over the superior grade desolate grade martial skill to me. 10,000 divine coins is already a great gain for you. I'm dying of laughter. 10,000 divine coins? Shu Chan immediately scolded. Jing Tianxing, don't you have any shame saying that? Since you don't want the 1 million, then don't ever ask for it again. Facing such a shameless person, even Shu Chan couldn't stand it anymore. This Jing Tianxing, after getting into the top 10,000 of the strongest king realm, really thought he was that great? Shut up. Do you have a right to speak here? Jing Tianxing glanced at Shu Chan, and his late-stage king realm aura spread out. Jing Tianxing, I've already given you enough face. Since you don't want the 1 million divine coins, then forget it. Long Yu said indifferently, Lady Yu Hanxin is coming over. If you don't leave, I'm going to find Lady Yu Hanxin to be the judge. Hearing this, Jing Tianxing's face immediately turned green and purple. He was very strong at the late stage of the secret realm of the King Path. He could crush Long Yu with one finger, so he dared to speak so arrogantly to Long Yu. But in front of Yu Hanxin, Jing Tianxing's strength was nothing. You're lucky. I'll let this matter go. Jing Tianxing's eyes flashed as he said indifferently and turned to leave. He did feel that Yu Hanxin was coming over, so he didn't bother to say anything more to Long Yu. As for letting this matter go, with Jing Tianxing's personality, was it possible? It was just that Jing Tianxing didn't want to be targeted by Yu Hanxin. I'm sure that the Heavenly Mandate Manor won't be peaceful tonight. When you get back, stay in the house and don't go out. Long Yu whispered to the people behind him. Most of the buildings in the Heavenly Mandate Manor had been reinforced by the divine rune crystals. Even if Jing Tianxing's father came, he wouldn't be able to destroy any of the reinforced buildings. Why did Long Yu have to be afraid? However, Long Yu certainly wouldn't let the Silver Fox King and Jing Tianxing go. Since they would definitely take action, Long Yu had to be prepared in advance to teach them a lesson. He wanted to let them know that the Heavenly Mandate Manor wasn't a place they could do whatever they wanted. Yu Hanxin seemed to have sent off the Red Emperor. Then, she flew toward Long Yu and the others alone. Her graceful figure attracted the attention of countless people around. When they saw that her target was Long Yu, they couldn't help but whisper among themselves. Long Yu had won first place this time. It could be said that he had risen suddenly. Long Yu, these are the rewards you receive this time. There are a total of 11 jade slips. Yu Hanxin walked over leisurely with a smile on her face. She handed the 11 jade slips to Long Yu. Obviously, these jade slips were the ones Long Yu and the others obtained in the illusion of the Red Emperor. They had turned into physical entities. Among them was the great desolate grade martial arts technique of the Final Treasure Palace, dubbed Qi Channeling. Thank you, Senior. Long Yu smiled slightly and took the 11 jade slips. Then, he winked at Yu Hanxin and transmitted his voice. I'm afraid that something will happen in the Heavenly Mandate Manor tonight. Senior, do you have time to come secretly? That's what I was thinking. Yuhanshi nodded. She glanced at Long Yu and smiled slightly. Don't worry. As long as I'm here, no one will dare to do anything to the Heavenly Mandate Manor. I'd like to see who will make a move against you. Then I'm relieved. Long Yu nodded and was relieved. Although the Heavenly Mandate Manor would be fine even if Yuhanshin didn't come, it was impolite not to reciprocate. As long as the Silver Fox King, Jing Tianxing, and the others made any moves, Long Yu would let them know how foolish it was to have designs on the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Of course, it was impossible for the Silver Fox King or Jing Tianxing to personally make a move. Given their status, how could they do such a thing? When the time came, those who would come to the Heavenly Mandate Manor would definitely be the forces they hired. Tonight, the Heavenly Mandate Manor was destined to have a good show. Yuhanshin handed over the dozen jade slips that the people from the Azure Manor had obtained to Shu Chan and left. The two exchanged jade slips. Long Yu obtained the Great Desolate Grade Martial Arts Technique, the Fekta Star Fist. He memorized all of it. However, Long Yu still couldn't make another jade slip that recorded the Fekta Star Fist. If he wanted to make a complete martial arts technique jade slip, he had to cultivate the martial arts technique to the transcendent realm. Long Yu hadn't even gotten started. It was impossible for him to make these desolate level martial arts technique jade slips. It wasn't just Long Yu. No one else could. Therefore, there was only one copy of each jade slip. Of course, the Red Emperor had two illusions. Some of the jade slips might have two copies. However, the one that really attracted the attention of the cultivators was the one in Long Yu's hand that recorded the superior desolate level martial arts technique. On their way back, Long Yu and the others met Duke Ruoshui and Sikong Yi. Sikong Yi personally thanked Long Yu and left with Duke Ruoshui. They had to return to Ruoshui Commandery to digest the things they had obtained from the Imperial Capital's grand event. The most important thing was that Ruoshui Commandery had obtained a superior desolate level martial arts technique, the Merak Steps, in the final battle of the Red Emperor's illusions. To Ruoshui Commandery, this was undoubtedly a huge increase in strength. Originally, there were only two complete inferior desolate level martial arts techniques recorded in the entire Ruoshui Commandery. As for the higher grades, there were no records at all. This time, the overall strength of Ruoshui Commandery had been greatly increased. Not to mention, there was also the reward from the 7th-ranked Red Emperor. Long Yu didn't know what it was, but it should be at least another great desolate level martial arts technique. This trip had doubled the number of great desolate level martial arts techniques that Ruoshui Commandery had. Moreover, after the Red Emperor's illusions ended, the major forces in the North Snow Empire would definitely start to reshuffle. The forces that obtained good things from the Red Emperor's illusions would definitely start to rise. As for the other forces, they might be able to obtain more great desolate level martial arts techniques, pill recipes, etc. However, they would definitely have to pay a certain price. In terms of development, they would be much slower. Overall, the entire North Snow Empire would enter a period of rapid development in the next 2 years. In the Divine Emperor Martial Conference 2 years later, they would definitely shine. All of this was brought to the North Snow Empire by Yuhanshin. In the entire North Snow Empire, Yuhanshin's reputation had already risen to a level that no one could match. Even the strongest forces like the North Snow 8 villages and 4 prefectures would definitely listen to Yuhanshin. The empire was about to transform into an empire. Countless people were excited, but they didn't know when that moment would truly come. In the Heavenly Mandate Manor, Long Yu took out the 11 jade slips and played with them in his hands. These were the greatest wealth that the Heavenly Mandate Manor had at present, especially the 3 great desolate level martial arts jade slips. Only members who had made a certain amount of contributions to the Heavenly Mandate Manor were qualified to cultivate them. Otherwise, these martial arts techniques would easily spread. For any force, the loss of martial arts techniques would be an unbearable consequence. Everyone can celebrate tonight. Perhaps we will have many special guests. The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up slightly. At this moment, everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor admired Long Yu. To be able to obtain first place in a Red Emperor's illusions and obtain an upper-grade, Great Desolate level martial arts technique was enough to prove that Long Yu was endlessly talented. With Long Yu, there was no need to worry that the Heavenly Mandate Manor would not be able to develop in the future. At night, the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor was celebrating, and Long Yu was alone. He held the 11 jade slips in his hand and flipped through them in a courtyard. He had a general understanding of the elixir recipes and the various materials needed to refine the battle weapon molds. At the same time, he was waiting for the Silver Fox King and Jing Tianxing's people to come. Chapter 739. It was around midnight. Long Yu memorized the contents of these 11 jade slips. However, in terms of martial skills, he could not impart them to others. After all, he had not comprehended most of these martial skills. After putting the 11 jade scrolls into an ordinary space belt, Long Yu walked out of the courtyard with an indifferent expression. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly attacked. Like a vengeful ghost in the night, it suddenly attacked Long Yu, who had just walked out of the courtyard. This person was extremely skilled at concealment. Even though Long Yu had used the Eye of Shadow before he left, he did not discover his existence. A cultivator at the peak of the King realm. Long Yu's heart trembled. He knew that the other party was coming for him. He immediately raised his hand and activated the power of the Azura Source Stone in his body. Bang! Long Yu was sent flying by the figure's punch. At the same time, the space belt around his waist was snatched away. Azura Ancient Palace, come down. Long Yu activated the Azura Source Stone. The Azura Ancient Palace instantly appeared above his head, and he leaped into it. When facing a cultivator at the peak of the King realm, the Azura Ancient Palace was much more stable than the Ancient Dragonbone Tower. The Ancient Dragonbone Tower could be more damaged under the attack of a late-stage King realm cultivator. However, the Azura Ancient Palace could even withstand the attack of an Emperor Realm cultivator. The Black Shadow had wanted to kill Long Yu after his successful attack. However, when he saw Long Yu hiding in the huge Azura Ancient Palace, he gave up on the idea of killing him. He immediately turned into black smoke and disappeared completely. He's really injured. Long Yu stood in the center of the Azura Ancient Palace. He narrowed his eyes, and the power in his body surged. If he had not cultivated the immemorial realm body refinement technique, he would have been killed by the other party's attack. If that's the case, I'll have to return the favor, Long Yu thought to himself. His figure disappeared from the Azura Ancient Palace. The entire Azura Ancient Palace also rose into the air after a while, returning to the sky above the Heavenly Mandate Manor and hiding. At the same time, the two people who had long been prepared moved at this moment. Gu Yixian and Mo Zhaiqian. Gu Yixian was a late-stage King realm expert who was only one step away from the Emperor realm. His strength was extremely terrifying. Although Mo Zhaiqian had just entered the King realm not long ago, he had a unique ability in tracking and concealment. Bringing Gu Yixian and Long Yu with him, Mo Zhaiqian concealed his presence and chased after the black figure that had launched a sneak attack. Under Mo Zhaiqian's tracking god art, there was no way anyone could escape. As long as Mo Zhaiqian saw them, it didn't matter what methods they used to hide themselves. That was the power of Mo Zhaiqian. Under Long Yu's invitation, Mo Zhaiqian had been observing Long Yu's every move. Mo Zhaiqian was even hiding not far from Long Yu's courtyard, and the person who launched the sneak attack did not notice him. Mo Zhaiqian was a master of concealment and tracking. Even when he hid with Long Yu and Gu Yixian, the effect was much more terrifying than when Long Yu used divine concealment alone. If Long Yu could have a concealment ability like Mo Zhaiqian's, his assassination skills would be further improved. Unfortunately, this was Mo Zhaiqian's unique ability and could not be made up for by divine arts or martial arts techniques. They chased after the black figure all the way. Soon, Mo Zhaiqian and the other two people followed the black figure out of the Heavenly Mandate Manor and went to the Soaring Fog Manor. Then, Long Yu and the other two people saw the black figure take out 11 jade slips from his storage belt and bury them under an old tree in the soaring fog manor. After burying the 11 jade slips, the black figure disappeared again. I'll follow the black figure. You guys stay here. Seeing this, Mo Zhaiqian's heart skipped a beat. He disappeared alone to follow the black figure. As for Long Yu, he took Gu Yixian with him and continued to hide himself using divine concealment. He also began to look for other people around. Evil thought explosion. Long Yu went directly to the place where the jade slips were buried and used evil thought explosion. But there was no reaction at all. That was to say, there was no one else within a radius of more than 600 feet. Up, Long Yu gathered his strength and broke the soil under the old tree. He took out the 11 jade slips and checked them. So they are fake. Long Yu squinted his eyes and said, "It seems the truth will be revealed in Mo Zhaiqian's place. Besides, Yu Hanxin is also following him. He can't run away." As soon as he said this, waves of divine characters collided with each other not far away. Obviously, there was a battle. Judging by the intensity, it was at least a battle between warriors in the King realm. Long Yu and Gu Yixian rushed over as fast as they could. Soon, they arrived at the place where the battle broke out. Of course, they were still hiding under Long Yu's divine concealment. Mo Zhaiqian didn't show up. Even Long Yu and Gu Yixian didn't know where he was now. There was a deep pit on the ground where the battle broke out. Two heavily injured men in black were lying in the pit. One of them was obviously the guy who took away the 11 jade slips from Long Yu. Swish! The air around Long Yu fluctuated. Then, a space belt was handed to him by a shadow. Apparently, Mo Zhaiqian had taken the space belt from the man in black. Long Yu secretly inspected the space belt. Indeed, his 11 jade slips were still there, untouched. The two men in black are from a mercenary organization. They must have been hired to take away the jade slips. Mo Zhaiqian's voice was transmitted into Long Yu's ears. No one else could hear it. However, the two black-robed men started fighting each other, and one of them died with a single move. A dog-eat-dog fight? Long Yu thought to himself. At this moment, a large group of people came running over. This was the territory of the Soaring Fog Manor. The people of the Soaring Fog Manor were the first to arrive after such an explosion. However, before that group of people could arrive, Yu Hanxin's figure suddenly appeared in midair. Her figure was faintly discernible, like a fairy. "Jiaozuan, there's no need to leave now that you're here. Am I right?" Yu Hanxin's voice was cold. Obviously, she had discovered Jiaozuan, who was hiding nearby. "I used a phantom concealment technique to check around the corpses, but I didn't find what you wanted. Jiaozuan, are you disappointed?" Yu Hanxin drifted toward a big tree. As soon as she finished her sentence, she activated the power of the ice divine characters and blasted the tree into ashes. There was indeed a sneaky figure behind the tree. He was looking at Yu Hanxin in shock. It was Jiaozuan. Lady Yu Hanxin, I'm just here to take advantage of the situation. I guess that someone would attack Brother Long Yu tonight." Jiaozuan was a little embarrassed, but he was not nervous. Obviously, he did not think that Yu Hanxin could do anything to him. "Is that so?" Yu Hanxin's voice became colder. It was the coldest voice that Long Yu had ever heard. Yu Hanxin had never spoken in such a cold tone before. "Jiaozuan, if you tell me the truth, I might consider letting you go. However, if you insist that you're just here to take advantage of the situation. The North Snow Empire is about to become an empire, and I need to establish my authority." After saying that, Yu Hanxin had already arrived in front of Jiaozuan with a murderous aura. Jiaozuan's face turned ashen. He had never seen Yu Hanxin like this. She was so cold and exuded such a strong, murderous aura. He even felt that Yu Hanxin would kill him in the next moment. Jiaozuan's mental fortitude was not bad, but he could not hold on for long under Yu Hanxin's condition. He collapsed. "Lady Yu Hanxin, I'll tell you everything. However, please let go of our autumn manor." Jiaozuan gritted his teeth and said, "I'm here today on the orders of the Silver Fox King. I'm here to collect the 11 jade slips that were taken from the Heavenly Mandate Manor. The man in black who attacked was a Jianghu martial arts cultivator hired by the Silver Fox King. As for the other person, I don't know who sent him, but I can guess that he must have been hired by Jing Tianxing. Very well, the Silver Fox King, Jing Tianxing. Yu Hanqi nodded coldly and said, Jiao Zhuan, you can leave now. However, from today onwards, I will order the Autumn Manor to be closed down. As for the Silver Fox Manor and the Tianxing House, they will also be closed down. This is the last time I'm going to hold back. From today onwards, if there are any incidents of people secretly stealing cultivation resources, they will all be killed. As soon as she finished speaking, not only Jiao Zhuan, but also Long Yu, Mo Zhaiyan, Gu Yixian, and the others, as well as the people from the Soaring Fog Manor who had just arrived, were all shocked by Yu Hanqin's murderous words. It turned out that all of this was planned by Yu Hanqin. I see. I didn't expect that we would become Yu Hanqin's tools. Long Yu was a little puzzled. However, he was naturally in a good mood when he saw how powerful Yu Hanqin was. Regardless of whether it was the Autumn Manor, Jing Tianxing, or the Silver Fox King, this operation could be said to have gone for wool and come home shorn. Most importantly, they happened to run into Yu Hanqin's gun. The North Snow Empire was about to become an empire. Under such circumstances, the entire North Snow territory could easily fall into chaos. If Yu Hanqin did not use an iron fist, the entire North Snow territory would fall into chaos. After the Red Emperor's illusion ended, Yu Hanqin guessed that there would definitely be people who would cause trouble. She wanted to make an example out of them to establish her own prestige. Before this, Yu Hanqin's prestige was enough, but it was not to the extent that she would obey every order. The reason was that the previous Yu Hanqin did not have any iron fist policies. She had always been indifferent. But now, what she needed was not just the worship of everyone in the North Snow territory, but more importantly, deterrence. As long as everyone in the North Snow territory respected her, the entire North Snow Empire, and even the soon-to-be Northern Snow Empire, would be better managed and would truly start to develop at a high speed. Unfortunately, the Silver Fox King and Jing Tianxing thought that Yu Hanqin valued them very much. Even if they were found out, she would definitely not punish them heavily. However, they were completely wrong. The price they were about to pay was the complete suppression of the Silver Fox Manor and the Sky Passage Manor. Although they did not kill anyone, if there was a next time, Yu Hanqin would annihilate their entire family. This was obviously not just for show. Chapter 740. The next day, the Silver Fox Manor, the Qiushui Manor, and the Skywalker House, the three major forces in the North Snow Empire, were all banned at the same time, which shocked the entire North Snow Empire. As for the reason why they were banned, it was because they tried to attack Long Yu of the Heavenly Mandate Manor and seize the spoils of war from the Red Emperor's illusion. Therefore, they completely angered Yu Hanqin. Even the Silver Fox King, the elders of Jing Tianxing, and even the cultivators of the Emperor Realm begged Yu Hanqin for mercy, but they could not change Yu Hanqin's determination. The three major forces were annihilated. A month later, a martial art competition would be held to determine the new ownership of the three forces. As for the original people of the three forces, they were directly recruited by Yu Hanqin and became her subordinates. Even though the Silver Fox Emperor, the Skywalker Emperor, and the others were very unhappy, they could not change the outcome. Yu Hanqin was determined to use them to establish her prestige, so she would not let them go easily. In stark contrast to them, there was no doubt that Long Yu was the one. Everyone knew that Long Yu, who won the first place in the illusion of the Red Emperor, would definitely lead the Heavenly Mandate Manor to continue to rise. As a result, many martial practitioners came to sign up, wanting to join the two forces, the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura House. Of course, Long Yu was happy to see this. Originally, the overall strength of the Heavenly Mandate Manor was relatively weak. Although Long Yu had provided the cultivation resources and integrated the members of the entire force, it would obviously take a long time for the Heavenly Mandate Manor to fully develop. Now, there were people coming. If these people were all recruited, the overall strength of the Heavenly Mandate Manor would be greatly improved. It should be known that because of the desolate level upper grade martial arts technique, even some cultivators of the King Realm wanted to join the Heavenly Mandate Manor. For a moment, the Heavenly Mandate Manor became the most discussed topic in the entire North Snow Empire. That's great. Since Brother Gu has chosen to stay, there is no doubt that he will be a member of the Patriarch Society of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Long Yu laughed. Early that morning, Yu Hanxin had just announced that the three major forces of the Silver Fox Manor would be eliminated. Gu and Shan brought the 4 members of the Cracked Tooth Squad to Long Yu and told him that they were willing to stay in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Right now, the Heavenly Mandate Manor didn't even have a cultivator in the King Realm. With Gu Yixian keeping watch, Long Yu could be more at ease. After all, he couldn't stay in the manor forever. To increase Long Yu's strength, he needs to obtain enough divine rune crystals, so he has to go to Shenwu World, to the places where otherworldly beasts gather, for example the Spring of Life. If Long Yu wasn't here, and there wasn't a King Realm expert to hold down the fort, it was very likely that something would go wrong. Now that he had Gu Yixian, Long Yu felt a lot more at ease. Without a doubt, on the one hand, Gu Yixian wanted to make friends with Long Yu because of the Heavenly Mandate Manor, and on the other hand, he had taken a fancy to Long Yu's potential. It would not be bad for his path of martial arts. Long Yu gave Hong Yu full authority to handle the recruitment of people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. He only gave her one instruction. The recruitment of people must be based on their loyalty. Therefore, when testing people to be recruited, they had to test their perseverance and loyalty. As for the realm of martial arts, it was not what Long Yu cared about the most. That night, Long Yu began to practice the upper desolate level martial arts technique, Dubhe Chi channeling. This martial arts technique was excellent for anyone. If one could comprehend it to perfection, the speed of cultivation would increase by more than 3 times. Even when the Dubhe Chi channeling was at the advanced level, it could enhance the effect of taking elixirs. No wonder it was a martial arts technique from the Red Emperor. With this martial arts technique, anyone's cultivation speed would be raised to another level. In addition to the Dubhe Chi channeling, Long Yu also obtained the Merak steps. Now that he had practiced it to the initial level, he could perform short-distance teleportation. There were also 2 middle desolate level martial arts techniques, the Celestial Right Star Shield and the Fectus Star Fist. One was for defense, and the other was for attack. Their power was not bad, but they were of little value to Long Yu. Instead of spending time comprehending these 2 martial arts techniques, it was better to practice the 9 Secluded Heavenly Light. The 9 Secluded Heavenly Light was an ancient top-grade martial arts technique that could improve attack, defense, and speed in all aspects. It was much more powerful than a middle desolate level martial arts technique. Only the Dubhe Chi channeling was a unique martial arts technique. Other martial arts techniques could not replace it. Of course, Long Yu chose the Dubhe Chi channeling first to comprehend. In 3 days, the Dubhe Chi channeling had reached the beginner level, which allowed him to freely absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth to improve his cultivation speed by 20%. This was already quite an achievement. The 20% increase in cultivation speed, coupled with the cultivation matrix in the cultivation tower, could double the cultivation speed. With the 2 superimposed, the effect was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. If I can practice the Dubhe Chi channeling to the highest level, even the effect of taking elixirs will be enhanced. I am really looking forward to it. Long Yu thought to himself and continued to practice in seclusion. What he was thinking, of course, was to first practice the Dubhe Chi channeling to the highest level, then buy a large number of elixirs, and try to see if he could step into the 5 realms divine power realm after taking them. If he succeeded, it would be time to leave the Heavenly Mandate Manor and go out of practice. According to his plan, he could almost practice the Dubhe Chi channeling to the highest level in a month. However, everything in the world, after all, would not completely happen as planned. Just when Long Yu was practicing in seclusion, a great crisis was quickly approaching. On the 5th day of practice, Long Yu walked out of the courtyard, ready to find Hong Yu and ask her about the development of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Just yesterday, everyone learned that the Red Emperor had left the North Snow Empire. Naturally, a top cultivator like him would not stay in a small place like the North Snow Empire for too long. During this time, there were only about a dozen people in the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor who were qualified to practice the W Chi channeling. If one wanted to cultivate the Tian Shu Chi channeling, which was an upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, if one was originally from the Heavenly Mandate Manor, that was, one who had followed Long Yu up from the Heavenly Mandate Island, they could choose to cultivate it as long as they entered the secret realm of divinity. And the recently recruited outsiders had to make enough contributions to the Heavenly Mandate Manor before they could practice it. So far, no foreign martial arts cultivator was qualified to practice the W Chi channeling. No one complained about this differential treatment. After all, it was already very good that the Heavenly Mandate Manor was willing to accept them. It was not easy to practice the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique. After joining the Heavenly Mandate Manor, they at least had something to look forward to. Moreover, even if they could not learn the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, there were many other desolate level martial arts techniques to practice. The contribution requirements were much lower than for the W Chi channeling. These desolate level martial arts techniques included the Merak Steps, the Migres Star Shield, and the 3 lower-grade desolate level martial arts techniques that Long Yu had obtained from the Devil's Tracking Treasure House. For the desolate level martial arts techniques, the Heavenly Mandate Manor was the least guarded. If a foreign martial arts cultivator worked for the Heavenly Mandate Manor every day, they could exchange for 1 lower-grade desolate level martial arts technique with just half a year's contribution. This was almost impossible in other forces, because the lower-grade desolate level martial arts techniques were extremely precious, even in a place like the Dragon House. If one was not a core member, no matter how much work he did, he would not be allowed to practice it. In addition, the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura House had the same number of elixir recipes, weapon molds, and desolate level martial arts techniques. This made the cultivation resources of the members of both sides richer. With enough contribution to the Heavenly Mandate Manor, one could go to the Shura House and practice the middle-grade desolate level martial arts technique, Fekta Star Fist. If one had enough contribution to the Shura House, one could also choose to practice the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, the W Chi channeling. Of course, if one wanted to practice the upper-grade desolate level martial arts technique, the W Chi channeling could not be achieved in a short period of time. Even the cultivators of the secret realm of the Emperor Path, who worked nonstop every day, would need at least 2 years to be qualified to practice the W Chi channeling. As for stealing, with Yu Hanxin's previous warning, who would dare to do such a thing? They would be exterminated by Yu Hanxin. Not only the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura House, but even the entire North Snow dynasty had entered a period of rapid development. The martial arts cultivators of various forces improved much faster than before. After thinking about so many things, Long Yu suddenly frowned slightly. He felt that the atmosphere around him was not quite right. Logically speaking, Hong Yu should have come long ago if he had sent someone to summon Hong Yu. Why hadn't she appeared yet? Oh no, Brother Long, someone has come to our manor to make trouble. Suddenly, Man Xian's panicked voice sounded. Someone has come to make trouble? Gu Yixin can't handle it. Long Yu raised his head, just in time to see Man Xian running over anxiously. I can't. Man Xian's face was full of fear. It's the Martial Emperor realm. A cultivator of the Martial Emperor realm has come to make trouble. He specifically said that he wants to seek revenge. Brother Long, get out of my way. Before Man Xian could finish his sentence, a terrifying wave of divine characters suddenly came from behind and hit him on the back, sending him flying. The person who could send Man Xian flying with one move was at least a cultivator in the middle stage of the King realm. A murderous intent flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Who would come to the Heavenly Mandate Manor to make trouble at this time? A cultivator of the Martial Emperor realm? Long Yu didn't remember offending any cultivator of the Martial Emperor realm. If he had offended someone before, then there was only one possibility: Prince Yin Yin. Once, Prince Yun Yun came to the North Snow Empire to participate in the Snow Lotus auction. Chapter 741. When Emperor Yunwan's imposing figure appeared in front of Long Yu, everyone in the heavenly mandate manor gathered in his direction, but no one dared to approach him. Two Emperor Realm experts took the lead and appeared in front of Long Yu, one on the left and one on the right. Behind the two young Emperor Realm experts was an existence with a terrifying aura. Although Long Yu had never seen this person before, he instantly recognized the other's identity. The ruler of the Clouds Empire, Emperor Yunduan. This was because this expert, exuding the aura of an Emperor Realm expert, looked similar to Emperor Yunduan. In fact, when Emperor Yunduan grew up, he would look just like this. Long Yu, one of the Emperor Realm experts, looked at Long Yu with murderous eyes. You dared to kill my brother and try to hide the truth. You didn't expect us to find you, did you? Don't waste your breath on him. This brat killed our third brother. He deserves to die. Attack, the other Emperor Realm youth said indifferently. He charged towards Long Yu with a loud bang. His every move exuded an endless might. This was a power that not even the Silver Fox King and Jing Tianxing could compare to. Emperor Realm. Emperor Realm was one level higher than Emperor Realm. The difference was like heaven and earth. Even if the Silver Fox King or Jing Tianxing were here, they wouldn't be able to block a single move from the other party, let alone Long Yu, who was only at the Four Divine Realm. However, Long Yu didn't move in the face of the Emperor Realm youth's attack. It was as if he couldn't react at all. In Long Yu's eyes, there was a hint of playfulness. In the next moment, Long Yu didn't move at all, but the Emperor Realm youth who was attacking him was blocked by an enormous force. His entire body was sent flying, and he fell heavily to the ground. Who is it? The Emperor Realm youth's expression changed. He raised his head and asked fiercely, You came to my territory and wanted to hurt people, but you still ask who I am. Don't you think you're a bit ridiculous, Yin Jinglei? A faint voice suddenly appeared. It was Yu Hanxin's voice. The reason why Long Yu didn't move was because he knew that Yu Hanxin was watching from the side. Of course, he wouldn't allow the people of the Cloud Empire to come to his territory and act wildly. The North Snow Empire was about to become an empire because of Yu Hanxin. Under such circumstances, Yu Hanxin not only needed to establish prestige internally, but she also needed to be strong externally in order to lay a good foundation for the establishment of the empire. Now that Emperor Yunduan had personally come to the North Snow Empire to kill Long Yu, how could Yu Hanxin turn a blind eye? It could only be said that Emperor Clouded Cloud came at the wrong time. After experiencing the battle of the Red Emperor's illusion, Long Yu had entered the eyes of the Red Emperor. How could Yu Hanxin watch him get killed by Emperor Yunwan's people? As Yu Hanxin's graceful figure appeared in front of everyone, the people of the Heavenly Mandate Manor cheered. Yin Jinglei, the young man who attacked Long Yu, had an ugly expression on his face. Of course, he knew Yu Hanxin's martial Dao talent. He knew that he was no match for Yu Hanxin at the moment. Moreover, it was rumored that Yu Hanxin was trying to break through to the Emperor Realm. Even if she didn't break through, she still had the strength to fight against ordinary Emperor Realm experts. In other words, even if Emperor Yunduan personally appeared, he might not be able to suppress Yu Hanxin. Emperor Yunduan, Yin Jinglei, and Yin Chushui were the three people from the Cloud Empire. They naturally didn't want to rely on others to avenge their son. Emperor Yunwan's eldest son, Yin Jinglei, and his second son, Yin Chushui, were both Emperor Realm experts. However, in terms of martial Dao talent, they were much weaker than Yu Hanxin. As for the Emperor Yunduan who died in front of Long Yu, he was the third son of Emperor Yunwan. We are avenging our son. Miss, you please step aside. Emperor Yunduan's expression darkened as he spoke to Yu Hanxin in a low voice. Even he didn't dare to fight against Yu Hanxin directly. Even if he could defeat Yu Hanxin, he didn't dare to do so. One had to know that Yu Hanxin's master was the Red Emperor. He didn't know when Yu Hanxin had become the disciple of the Red Emperor. However, the Red Emperor's appearance at the North Snow Empire not long ago clearly indicated Yu Hanxin's identity. She was the sixth direct disciple of the Red Emperor. How could Emperor Yunduan dare to provoke such an identity? Moreover, even if they fought with their true strength, Emperor Yunduan might not be a match for Yu Hanxin. After all, Yu Hanxin's talent was extremely high, and her progress was extremely fast. No one knew what level Yu Hanxin had reached before they fought. Avenging your son? Yu Hanxin narrowed her eyes and said playfully, "How come I don't know when long you killed your son? Half a year ago, my third son came to your North Snow Empire to participate in the cold lotus fruit auction. However, he never came back. Later on, I heard that it was Long Yu who killed my third son and took away his treasure." Emperor Yunduan coldly snorted and glanced at Long Yu. The murderous intent in his eyes was almost tangible. If it wasn't for Yu Hanxin's presence, Long Yu would have died many times already. Half a year ago, Yu Hanxin said indifferently, "I remember that time. Long Yu was about to leave the North Snow Empire and hadn't even entered the Divine Secret Realm. But you said that Long Yu killed your third son, who was at the intermediate stage of the Imperial Secret Realm. Long Yu is cunning and sinister. How can you be sure that he didn't kill my third son?" Emperor Yunduan coldly said. "Then what makes you say that Long Yu killed your third son? Do you have any proof?" Yu Hanxin didn't want to argue with him and asked in a cold tone. "Rumor has it that he has an ancient combat weapon. He even showed his brilliance in the royal festival of your North Snow Empire." Emperor Yunduan said confidently, "Lady Yu, you also know that ancient combat weapons are not cabbages. It just so happens that my third son also has an ancient combat weapon, a dagger." "You mean this one?" When Long Yu heard this, he smiled faintly. Since it had already come to this, he naturally could not allow Yu Hanxin to block his way. He took out the nether void dragon blade and turned it around in his hand. Then he said indifferently, "May I ask what level your third son's combat weapon is? Lower ancient combat weapon? Mid ancient combat weapon? Upper ancient combat weapon?" Emperor Yunduan was shocked when he saw the nether void dragon blade in Long Yu's hand. Even Yun Jinglei and Yun Chushui were dumbfounded. This combat weapon wasn't the pale cold blade of their third brother. Their third brother's pale cold blade was completely white. It was a lower ancient combat weapon. It couldn't be any higher. The one in Long Yu's hand was at least an upper ancient combat weapon. They could feel it just by looking at its aura. Moreover, it was completely black. It couldn't be their third brother's combat weapon. "What? Are you mistaken?" Looking at the expressions of the three, Yu Hanxin smiled faintly. "Someone told us that Long Yu took out an ancient dagger during the grand meeting in the Imperial City. I subconsciously thought that it was the dagger that belonged to my third son." Emperor Yunduan's expression slightly changed. He suddenly became extremely polite. "Lady Yu, please forgive me. It seems like someone is trying to frame little brother Long Yu. It really pisses me off. Since it's all a misunderstanding, there's no need to pay attention to it." Yu Hanxin waved her hand. "Emperor Yunduan, since you're here, I will naturally do my best to entertain you and your two young masters." "You're too polite, Lady Yu." Emperor Yunduan chuckled. He took one last look at Long Yu and followed Yu Hanxin. Yun Jinglei and Yun Chushui also followed. Before Yu Hanxin left, she gave Long Yu a meaningful look, which made Long Yu's heart skip a beat. "She's reminding me." Long Yu saw many things from Yu Hanxin's eyes. Was Emperor Yunduan really sent away that easily? Impossible. Since he came all the way from the Cloud Empire, it was impossible for him to leave so easily. Since he was here, he must avenge his third son. However, with Yu Hanxin here, even if he had conclusive evidence, he couldn't do anything. Wasn't that courting death? Long Yu had just taken out the nether void dragon blade to refute Emperor Yunduan and prove his innocence. However, he didn't expect Emperor Yunduan to use this as a pretext to make a fuss and leave with Yu Hanxin. Is it possible to believe my explanation so easily? Long Yu narrowed his eyes. That Emperor Yunduan was an Emperor Realm expert. They wouldn't dare to do anything in front of Yu Hanxin, but if they wanted to secretly attack Long Yu, even Yu Hanxin wouldn't be able to stop them. Even if it was Yu Hanxin, how could she stay by Long Yu's side at all times? "Let's go." Long Yu made this decision. Since he was going to leave this place soon, he would go out to train and search for divine rune crystals. He could also use this opportunity to hide from Emperor Yunduan. Since Emperor Yunduan dared to come and risk offending Yuan Xin, he naturally had a lot of evidence. With this evidence, he had enough reason to believe that Long Yu was related to his third son's death. If Long Yu didn't leave now, when would he leave? If he shamelessly stayed by Yuan Xin's side, then everything would be fine. However, for Long Yu, how could he do such a thing? Anyway, I have the Red Emperor's order in my mind. In that case, I will go to the alliance of 5 emperors first and enter the 5 emperors' illusion realm. I hope I will have a good harvest. Long Yu directly condensed an ancient shadow and stayed in the heavenly mandate manner to fool people. He waved his hand and directly activated the invisible Azura ancient palace in the sky and began to fly towards the west. When the Azura ancient palace moved, Shu Chan in the Azura manner must have sensed it. However, Shu Chan also heard that Emperor Yunduan came to cause trouble for Long Yu, so she didn't stop Long Yu from taking the Azura ancient palace. In fact, Emperor Yunduan's death was related to both Long Yu, and Shu Chan. Long Yu's departure was obviously to attract Emperor Yunduan's attention. You must be careful. When you come back, whether it is the Azura manner or the heavenly mandate manner, they must have changed greatly. Shu Chan looked in the direction of the Azura ancient palace and felt a little reluctant. On the same night, a black-clothed and masked Emperor Realm expert suddenly broke into the heavenly mandate manor. He blasted open the courtyard where Long Yu's ancient shadow was and directly turned it into ashes. However, the Emperor Realm expert was shocked when he found that he only killed Long Yu's ancient shadow. Chapter 742. The Emperor Realm expert who came to the heavenly mandate manor to assassinate Long Yu was not Emperor Yunduan himself. It was another expert from the Cloud Empire. He wore a black robe and was shrouded in a strange ripple. No one could see his true appearance. After killing Long Yu's afterimage, the first thing this Emperor Realm expert did was to flee. He naturally didn't dare to stay. Although he had only launched a single attack, it was enough to expose his existence. If he was caught by Yuan Xin, he wouldn't be able to walk away unscathed. Therefore, this Emperor Realm expert did not dare to stay for long and directly left. At this time, Yuan Xin was having a banquet with Emperor Yunduan, Yin Jinglei, Yin Chushui, and the others. When they felt the attack, their expressions immediately changed. Someone attacked the heavenly mandate manor. Yuan Xin gave Emperor Yunduan a meaningful look and said indifferently, "It seems that there are still many small fries in my North Snow dynasty. One day, when I step into the Emperor realm, I will have the power of divination. At that time, I will definitely see who dares to cause trouble here." Haha. Unfortunately, the heavenly mandate manor's Long Yu has no karmic connection with me. I cannot help miss you with the divination, Emperor Yunduan said with a fake smile. In fact, everyone present knew that it was Emperor Yunduan's men who attacked Long Yu. However, where was the evidence? The one who attacked was an Emperor Realm expert. Even though Yuan Xin's combat strength was not inferior to an ordinary Emperor Realm expert, under the current circumstances, the Emperor Realm expert had escaped after one attack. Even Yuan Xin could not catch up to him. It should be known that Yuan Xin did not comprehend the power of the divine rune of space. As for Yuan Xin's divination after stepping into the monarch realm, even at the fastest speed, he would need at least a year to step into the monarch realm. By that time, all traces of today's assassination would have vanished without a trace, and it would be terrifyingly difficult to deduce who did it today. One should know that even Emperor Yunduan himself could not deduce what happened a year ago. Even though he had to deduce the death of his third son half a year ago, he still had to spend a lot of time and combine the information he got from other forces in the North Snow dynasty to conclude that the murderer was related to Long Yu. Emperor Yunduan was not afraid of Yuan Xin looking for trouble. The biggest reason was that Emperor Yunduan himself was about to break through. Great emperors were also divided into 3 stages: early stage, mid-stage, and late stage. Monarch Clouds was only an early stage great emperor right now. Once he broke through to mid-stage Great Emperor, his strength would skyrocket, bringing the entire Cloud's empire to a whole new level. Yuan Xin. He was quite fearful, but it didn't mean that he wouldn't dare to avenge his son. It was just killing Long Yu, and this brat had nothing to do with Yuan Xin. Could it be that Yuan Xin was really willing to become enemies with the High Cloud's empire for a dead genius? Come. Our North Snow dynasty not only has the cold lotus fruit, but also the cold lotus wine made from the cold lotus flower. Please have a taste. Yuan Xin said with a smile as she personally stalled Emperor Yunwan. At this time, Emperor Yunwan still thought that Long Yu was killed and did not have any other thoughts. It wasn't until midnight when Emperor Yunwan and his two sons left the North Snow Imperial City and headed back to the Cloud Empire that they received news from their subordinates. Long Yu was not dead. Even the Emperor Realm experts couldn't kill Long Yu. It was not because they were not strong enough, but because Long Yu had already escaped. With Yuan Xin watching us, we can't do anything. It seems like we can only let others do it. Contact the Long House and the Luo Yu Mansion. Let them take action. We will return to the Empire first, so that Yuan Xin won't notice anything. A murderous intent flashed in Emperor Yunwan's eyes as he spoke. Father, how can we let others take revenge for third brother? Emperor Yunwan's eldest son, Yun Jinglei, revealed a ruthless expression, not to mention that the Long House and the Luo Yu Mansion lost to that brat Long Yu in the battle for the Red Emperor's illusion realm. They're just a bunch of trash. I'm afraid that they will make a mistake if they make a move. It's better for me to do it myself. No need. Emperor Yunwan shook his head and said to Yun Jinglei, the most important thing now is that brat Long Yu has run off to who knows where. If you chase after him, it will be a waste of time. Leave it to the Long House and the Luo Yu Mansion. However, just to be safe, you can follow behind them. If they're so useless that they can't even deal with a brat at the Transcendent Realm, then it won't be too late for you to make a move. Yes, Yun Jinglei nodded, listening to his father's words. With a turn, Yun Jinglei's figure disappeared without a trace. It seemed like he had some amazing concealment methods. In the process of escaping, Long Yu brought the ancient Azura Palace and the ancient Dragonbone Tower with him. Even though the ancient Azura Palace covered the sky, its concealment ability was extremely terrifying. He hid inside and flew through the sky. Even if an Emperor Realm expert passed by, they wouldn't be able to detect his presence. With such a layer of protection, Long Yu naturally wouldn't be willing to run away just like that. An Emperor Realm expert couldn't appear too many times. The fact that Emperor Yunwan could find him meant that he had a spy in the North Snow dynasty. Who could it be? Thinking back to the scene at the Hidden Dragon Gambling House, Long House. Long House, did you tell Emperor Yunwan that I am the murderer of his third son? Long Yu's eyes were filled with killing intent. That's why you want to own me and not pay me back. When Emperor Yunwan kills me, this debt will be written off. What a good plan. If the people of the Long House knew that Long Yu was certain that they were behind this, wouldn't they burn down the entire Hidden Dragon Gambling House in anger? Just to save 20,000 Shinbi, they brought disaster to the Long House. Now that he knew who was behind this, Long Yu naturally wouldn't let them go so easily. The invisible ancient Azura Palace leisurely stopped in the sky above a valley 10,000 li away from the North Snow Imperial City. It only took the ancient Azura Palace less than half a night to cover this distance. At this distance, Long Yu was sure that the Long House would definitely send someone to kill him. As for Emperor Yunwan, he was definitely being watched by Yuan Xin. It was impossible for Emperor Yunwan to deal with Long Yu. Without an Emperor Realm expert, Long Yu is absolutely safe. Even if he couldn't win, he could just run away, taking 10,000 steps back. Even if an Emperor Realm expert appeared, Long Yu wouldn't necessarily die. Against an ordinary Emperor Realm expert, he still had a trump card. The true spirit of the 9 Nether Dragons shocked everyone and activated the ancient Azura Palace's space array to travel 10,000 li in an instant. Even an Emperor Realm expert who comprehended space divine runes couldn't catch up. Now that the ancient Azura Palace's energy had recovered a little, it was just enough to activate the space array once. As for other methods, such as the Azura Thought-Killing Array, it couldn't be used. The ancient Azura Palace was used too frequently. It was difficult to completely restore its energy. Activating the space array once was already its limit. However, for Long Yu, who had a trump card, activating the space array once was enough. This time, he could cross more than half of the county palace. For an Emperor Realm expert, it would take them 2 days to catch up. After 2 days, how could Long Yu let them find him? At this time, Long Yu was hovering in the air above the closest county palace to the North Snow royal capital. It was the Lingxue County. The Lingxue County was an ally of the Sky Fire County. During the royal capital Grand Assembly, they were ruthlessly slapped in the face by Long Yu. Even the young master of the Lingxue Fox clan, Ling Zimo, was directly crippled by Long Yu. Although Ling Xingyang might be able to cure him, it would definitely cost a lot. It was easy to imagine how much the Lingxue Fox clan hated Long Yu. Long Yu didn't appear. The valley he was in was a valley of ice and snow. Few people came here, but it was a good place to hide. There should be people coming to investigate. Even if the people of the Dragon House appear, they won't show their faces. I can kill to my heart's content and plunder more resources. Long Yu's eyes were filled with excitement. Killing people and plundering their treasures was normal in the Shenwu world. But now, Long Yu wasn't actively going to kill people. He was waiting for them to come to him. After all, it was the other side that wanted to die, so they couldn't blame Long Yu. No matter what, Long Yu was still in the right. He wouldn't make things difficult for Yuan Xin, nor would he leave a bad impression on the Red Emperor. If people want to kill themselves, they have to fight back. This method was the consensus of all the cultivators in the Shenwu world. No one could oppose it. After waiting for the second half of the night, the masked man didn't show up. Instead, a group of Lingxue Fox clan cultivators flew over to the Sky Snow Valley. I heard that Long Yu really is running towards us. His eyes are shining. As long as we can find traces of that kid, we'll be rich. That's right. Everyone watch carefully. Don't let go of any suspicious traces. Otherwise, if the higher-ups blame us, we'll be in trouble. The group of people cursed as they flew over. From time to time, they would search the Sky Snow Valley below, getting closer and closer to where Long Yu was. A group of Theurgy Realm cultivators, not even a single King Realm cultivator. Looks like they're searching every inch of the area, sending out quite a few people. Long Yu squinted his eyes and decided to make a move first. If he didn't make some noise, how would he attract the real customers? Long Yu's ultimate target was a King Realm mid-stage cultivator. Only from a King Realm mid-stage cultivator would he be able to obtain valuable cultivation resources for the current Long Yu. With that in mind, Long Yu left the Azura Ancient Palace and appeared in front of the searching Lingxue Fox clan cultivators with a bright smile on his face. "Everyone, are you looking for me?" The 10+ members of the Souls Now Fox clan were instantly shocked. However, before they could even speak, what welcomed them was Long Yu's attack that was like a storm, and it drowned and enveloped them. In just a few seconds, all of these people were knocked unconscious by Long Yu and then sealed in the Azura Ancient Palace. He was going to put them into his inner world to strengthen his heart realm. The commotion here had probably already spread out. Very soon, Long Yu would face wave after wave of attacks. He might even run into an opponent he couldn't defeat. For example, an Emperor Realm cultivator, Lingxue County's Duke, Ling Xingyang. Chapter 743. Ling Xingyang, the head of the Ling Snow Fox clan and the Ling Snow County Lord, had sufficient reason to rush over and kill Long Yu first. Therefore, after Long Yu sealed the group of Ling Snow Foxes, he didn't stay where he was. Instead, he moved several thousand feet to the side. He wanted to avoid Ling Xingyang. Although Ling Xingyang wasn't an Emperor Realm expert and was only a late-stage King Realm expert, to the current Long Yu, a late-stage King Realm expert was still a powerful existence that he couldn't fight against. Long Yu simply flew in a random direction. Indeed, he saw a middle-aged man in the early stage of the King realm. He was leading a group of martial cultivators in the Theurgy mystic realm and flying towards the place where he had just fought. It was obvious that Long Yu had been discovered by the Ling Snow County Lord. But it didn't matter. An early-stage King realm expert just happened to be at a level that Long Yu could deal with. Since the other party dared to come and kill him, they couldn't blame Long Yu for being ruthless. Smash them! Long Yu manipulated the ancient Azura Palace through the Azura Source Stone, causing it to directly smash into the group of people in front of him. The incomparably sturdy outer wall of the ancient Azura Palace directly smashed into the body of the early-stage King realm middle-aged man and sent him flying. In the next moment, the Nether Void Dragon Blade had already been unleashed. The space-piercing blade shattered the void and transformed into a sharp black blade that pierced into the neck of the early-stage King realm middle-aged man. First, he was knocked senseless by the ancient Azura Palace. Then, Long Yu dealt a fatal finishing blow. Just like that, an early-stage King realm expert died in Long Yu's hands. Collect. Long Yu activated the Azura Source Stone and directly stored the corpse of the early-stage King realm expert into the Azura Ancient Palace. He even brought the other Transcendent Realm cultivators along with him. However, Long Yu didn't care about those divine ability Secret Realm cultivators. He allowed them to wander around in the ancient Azura Palace. Without using the power of the ancient Azura Palace, Long Yu naturally couldn't directly seal them. He could only keep them for now and deal with them when he was done. In any case, these people couldn't do anything to threaten Long Yu in the ancient Azura Palace. In fact, they could only move around in a very small area. He actually has more than 10,000 divine coins. This fellow is really fat. This guy is really rich. Long Yu narrowed his eyes and checked the spatial ring of the early-stage King realm expert. He was quite surprised. Even for an early-stage King realm cultivator, this amount of Shinbi was not a small amount. In a martial cultivation world, this person would definitely be considered rich. Moreover, there were all kinds of heaven-grade and earth-grade elixirs stored in the spatial ring. Most of them were healing elixirs, but there were also some cultivation elixirs. Although they were useless to Long Yu, they were still worth more than 1,000 Shinbi in total. In addition to the battle weapon, Long Yu Wang had gained a lot from this person. However, was this enough to satisfy Long Yu? No, the difference was too big. If he wanted to quickly increase his martial cultivation realm, he needed sufficient resources, especially elixirs. When he arrived at the central city of the Alliance of Five Emperors, there would definitely be many great desolate great elixirs that Long Yu had never seen before. There might even be great desolate great elixirs, or even supreme desolate great elixirs. Each elixir of this grade was worth tens of thousands of Shinbi, or even hundreds of thousands of Shinbi. With Long Yu's current wealth, he couldn't afford them at all. Therefore, before he left, he wanted to rob the others and make a fortune. In the blink of an eye, he had killed an early-stage King stage powerhouse, and there was practically no commotion. What happened next was a stage that belonged to Long Yu alone. Even if an Emperor Realm expert came, they wouldn't be able to discover the invisible Azura Ancient Palace. What did Long Yu have to be afraid of? Kill. Long Yu was merely giving an eye for an eye. It was perfectly normal. In the snowy mountain range of Lingxua Commandery, Long Yu killed another early-stage King Realm expert in no time. Without a doubt, Lingxua Commandery had suffered heavy losses. Even if Lingxua Commandery's overall strength was stronger than Azura Commandery, two early-stage King Realm experts were still a valuable combat force. In Azura Commandery, there were only 6 King Realm experts in the entire Commandery. However, after killing 2 of them, it became extremely difficult for Long Yu to make another move. Although the others were unable to find his tracks, the others gathered together and followed Ling Jingyang as they searched the snowy mountains. Long Yu had plundered more than 30,000 Shinbi from the people of Lingxua Commandery. Seeing that Ling Jingyang and the others had gathered together, he had no chance to make another move. Thus, he chose to leave. Lingxua Commandery's profits aren't much, but calculating the time, The people from the dragon residence should be here by now, right? Instead, Long Yu flew back. He was prepared to intercept the pursuers from the dragon residence. According to his calculations, the dragon residence would never let go of this opportunity to kill him. After all, there wouldn't be another chance like this. Sure enough, when Long Yu flew back thousands of miles, he finally saw a large group of dragon residents, martial practitioners, flying in his direction. Leading them was the crown prince of the dragon residence, Long Yao. Behind Long Yao, there were more than 20 divine secret realm dragon residence cultivators, including Yu Tongfei from Azura Commandery. Those people from Azura Commandery were actually following behind Long Yao to hunt down Long Yu. In that case, don't blame me for being rude. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up. He activated the Azura Source Stone and made the ancient Azura Palace slowly hover above the group of people. Young master, don't worry. Now that the dragon residence is out in full force, capturing that Long Yu will be a piece of cake. Your revenge will definitely be avenged. Yu Tongfei followed by Long Yao's side and smiled flatteringly. Keep your spirits up. Don't let that kid run away, or you'll all have to bear the consequences. Long Yao's eyes were about to spit fire. He was furious. One had to know that he was the crown prince of the dragon residence, one of the North Snow 4 residences. His talent was definitely one of the best among the younger generation. But in this year's North Snow Imperial City Grand event, he, Long Yao, had become a laughingstock of millions of people. Lost to Long Yu in the mixed battle ring? It didn't matter. It was Long Yu and Shu Chan who teamed up. Both of them were monstrous geniuses. It was slightly understandable that they defeated him. But then in the Red Emperor's illusion, Long Yao was first injured by Shu Chan and led the crowd to flee. Then, unluckily, he met Long Yu and was killed by Long Yu in one move. Too embarrassing. Too miserable. The dignified dragon residence, in the Battle of the Red Emperor's illusion, only got such a little benefit, 1 or 2 great desolate grade elixir recipes. How could Long Yao tolerate this? Originally, after admitting defeat to Long Yu in the mixed battle ring, because of his brother Long Zhong's words, his mood became a little better. But after the end of the Red Emperor's illusion, Long Yao couldn't even stand his own stupidity, not to mention his father scolding him for this. This was the first time in his life that his father scolded him like this. Not to mention that he also knew that Long Yu, even his good sister in the Luoyue residence, Yu Xian Lan, had defeated the Luoyue residents in the Battle of the Red Emperor's illusion, leaving them with almost no gains. Jealousy, anger, hatred, all kinds of emotions quickly spread in Long Yao's heart and had long occupied his entire heart. Long Yu, I can't rest easy if I don't get rid of him. Long Yao's eyes were bloodshot. For him, the existence of Long Yu was a disgrace. He must kill Long Yu. This time, the dragon residents, including his father, a powerhouse of the Emperor realm, would definitely be able to catch that kid and trample on him. Look in front. Isn't that the kid? Go. Suddenly, Yu Tongfei's eyes lit up, and he pointed to the clouds in front of him. Sure enough, everyone looked up and saw the figure of a young man in black looming in the clouds. They could see that he was running away. Wasn't that Long Yu? For a moment, Long Yao's head was filled with blood, and he directly waved his hand. Follow me. A group of people flew towards the place where they found Long Yu. Their speed was much faster than Long Yu, and soon they surrounded Long Yu in the middle, making him unable to escape. Long Yu, you didn't think that you would have such a day, did you? Long Yao looked triumphantly at Long Yu, who was surrounded in the middle, his eyes filled with ruthlessness. Today, I will, however, before he could finish a sentence, he saw the corner of Long Yu. His mouth slightly curled up, and then a terrifying force broke out from his body. Self-destruct. Long Yu self-destructed. No, to be precise, it was Long Yu's ancient remnant shadow that self-destructed. Even if it was just an ancient remnant shadow, the power of its self-destruction was absolutely not to be underestimated. In an instant, the power of the 9 nether divine characters spread out, and the group of people surrounding Long Yu were blown away. As strong as Long Yao was, of course, not injured, but then Long Yao had a feeling of palpitation as if some danger was coming bang. Before he could react from the self-destruction of Long Yu's ancient remnant shadow, the invisible Azura ancient temple had already fallen from the sky and smashed heavily on Long Yao's head. This smash directly smashed Long Yao into serious injuries. He spat out a mouthful of blood and immediately transformed into his dragon form. Then a layer of Berserker's divine characters attached to his body. Magical powers, Berserker armor. However, before he could fully equip himself, Long Yu's attack came again. 9 Nether Heavenly Screen, Protect. Dragon Skeleton Break, Kill. The Dragon Skeleton Ancient Tower was activated by Long Yu. With the protection of the 2 layers of 9 Nether Heavenly Screen, the Dragon Skeleton Break would not damage the Dragon Skeleton Ancient Tower. The entire huge Dragon Skeleton Ancient Tower, like a whirlwind spinning at high speed, brought a terrifying airflow and attacked Long Yao. Long Yao had just been knocked unconscious and subconsciously activated the Berserker armor to defend himself. At this moment, how could he avoid this blow? Since you want to die, then I'll fulfill your wish. Die. Long Yu activated the ancient Dragon Skeleton Pagoda and slammed it down. However, in the next moment, a stalwart figure suddenly appeared above Long Yao's head. He raised an arm, and a terrifying power spread out, blocking the ancient Dragon Skeleton Pagoda with just one hand. There was a loud bang, and the airflow flew everywhere. The top of the Dragon Skeleton Ancient Tower and the figure's palm instantly exploded with terrifying power, spreading in all directions. However, the stalwart figure still did not move. It was obvious that the person was much stronger than Long Yu. Long Yao's elder brother, Long Jiang, late-stage king realm, and even half a step into the emperor realm. Long Yu recognized the identity of the other party at a glance. He did not expect Long Jiang to be hidden in Long Yao's team and attack at the critical moment. His main task was to protect Long Yao. Indeed, with Long Yao's death-seeking personality, he would not even know how he died when he went out on a mission. It was understandable that the Long residents had Long Jiang protect him. However, this was a little troublesome for Long Yu. Chapter 744. Long Jiang was Long Yao's elder brother. Although he was more than 30 years old, his martial arts talent was unquestionable. Before Long Yao, Long Jiang was the most important candidate to represent the Long residents in the Imperial Capital Grand Meet. He had been able to achieve the honor of being in the top 3 for the Long residents several times. 5 years ago, Long Jiang was at a critical juncture in his closed-door cultivation, so he didn't participate in the strongest king realm competition. However, it was rumored that Long Jiang's strength definitely surpassed Jing, Tianqing, and the Silver Fox King. It was not an exaggeration to say that Long Jiang was at the peak of the king realm. A junior in the secret realm dares to bully my brother. Long Yu, you should stop now, right? Long Jiang suddenly opened his eyes and raised his palm. The power of the divine characters exploded as if he wanted to shatter the entire ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Long Yu sensed Long Jiang's actions and immediately created 3 layers of 9 underworld heavenly screens on the outside of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. This way, the entire ancient Dragon Bone Tower was in a state of impenetrable defense. A terrifying power exploded. However, the ancient Dragon Bone Tower only flew back a short distance before it dissipated all the power that Long Jiang had displayed. Long Jiang frowned slightly, as expected of a great desolate grade combat weapon. If I could use such an ancient tower. Unfortunately, before he could think too much about it, Long Yu had already kept the ancient Dragon Skeleton Pagoda. He then stepped into the Azura Ancient Palace, turned invisible, and escaped. The ancient Azura Palace's invisibility ability was much stronger than Mo Jietian's. Even an Emperor Realm expert might not be able to find a trace of it. However, this did not seem to be the case for Long Jiang. Trying to escape? Where can you escape to? Long Jiang raised his eyebrows and let out a contemptuous laugh. A wisp of divine thoughts had already attached to the surface of the ancient Azura Palace, allowing him to clearly sense the location of the ancient Azura Palace. It turned out that he had been hiding in the team behind Long Yao, keeping a low profile. He wanted to catch Long Yu the moment he appeared. Kill! Long Zhang's body flickered, and he turned into a golden streak of light, flying in the direction of the ancient Azura Palace. The terrifying golden light blotted out the sky, as if it wanted to tear the entire ancient Azura Palace apart. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he watched Long Zhang's actions from afar. Bully your little brother? What a joke. Long Yu thought to himself. From the beginning until now, it was Long Yao who had taken the initiative to come to him and suppress him. For Long Yao to end up like this, he only had himself to blame. What did it have to do with Long Yu? Of course, Long Yao's only mistake was to misjudge Long Yu's strength, which led to his current state. But what did this have to do with Long Yu? Could it be that Long Yu could only defend and not fight back when they came knocking on his door? What a joke. Damn it, I'll die in the end. Long Yu hardened his heart and rushed directly towards the seriously injured Long Yao. At this moment, his real body was not in the ancient Azura Palace, but he had already used the divine concealment technique to hide in another direction. Long Zhang thought he was smart and chased after the ancient Azura Palace. He did not expect that Long Yu was still in the same place, eyeing his brother Long Yao. When Long Zhang appeared and sent the ancient dragon bone tower flying with one hand, Long Yao wanted to cheer. This guy had a stomach full of anger from Long Yu and had long wanted to get rid of him. Today, with a little trick, he finally lured that kid out and then relied on Long Jiang, who was hiding in the crowd, to kill Long Yu in one fell swoop. Long Yao did not believe that such a method could not deal with Long Yu. Now that the crown prince has taken action, that kid is dead for sure. Beside Long Yao, Yu Tongfei, who had betrayed the Azura Manor and even mocked Shu Chan and the others, was also slightly relieved. It had to be said that the rise of Long Yu had brought great pressure to Yu Tongfei, especially when Yu Hanqin announced that the Silver Fox Manor and Skyrunner Palace would be closed down. Yu Tongfei's inner shock reached its peak. He didn't expect Long Yu to possess such strength, even becoming the #1 contender for the Scarlet Emperor's illusory realm, and even receiving the Lord Scarlet Emperor's praise. If Long Yu was really allowed to grow, what would happen? Wouldn't he, Yu Tongfei, become a villain? Yu Tongfei had taken more than 20 people from the Azura Manor, and those people were all tricked by his flowery words. Once they left the Azura Manor, it was impossible for them to return. Betrayal was the most intolerable sin. Once Long Yu rose, the strength of the Azura Manor would inevitably increase. At that time, Yu Tongfei would not be able to bear the consequences. The most frightening thing was that when Long Yu grew to a certain extent, even a behemoth like the Azura Manor would not be able to suppress Long Yu. Fortunately, the Crown Prince has taken action today. That Long Yu must die. A fierce look flashed in Yu Tongfei's eyes. He seemed to have forgotten who had defeated the 6th prince of the Tianqin dynasty in the battle in the Azura Ancient Palace, seized control of the Azura Ancient Palace, and escaped with him from the Tianqin dynasty. Of course, even if this Yu Tongfei had not been able to escape from the Tianqin dynasty, with his character, he would definitely have sought refuge with the Tianqin dynasty. Young master, how do you feel? Yu Tongfei asked Long Yao cautiously. He could see that Long Yao was now seriously injured. He had even changed into his dragon form, so he must have been seriously injured. Fortunately, just one blow from that kid is not enough to kill this crown prince. Long Yao still had lingering fears. He was completely relieved when he saw that his brother, Long Jiang, had gone to chase after Long Yu. If not for Long Jiang blocking in front of him, he would have been killed by the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. That's right, that Long Yu is just an opportunist. How would he be a match for you, young master? Yu Tongfei chuckled. If that kid was not good at sneak attacks, young master would have been able to kill him on the spot. That's right. Long Yao smiled proudly. In fact, he also felt that Long Yu's methods were too underhanded. Other than sneak attacks, what other powerful methods could he have? If it was an open battle, Long Yao would definitely be able to kill Long Yu directly. However, he did not think about Long Yu's current cultivation level and his own. This kid is lucky. He offended Emperor Yunduan, and Emperor Yunduan specifically said that he wanted his life. Otherwise, if he fell into my hands, I would definitely make him beg for death and suffer all the pain in the world, Long Yao said in a cold voice. However, before he could finish his sentence, a pitch-black blade of light suddenly cut through the void and appeared on the neck of his flood dragon body. Poof! Space penetration. The nether void dragon blade directly penetrated his neck and then absorbed the soul imprints of the 7 surrounding cultivators, including Long Yao himself. 8 soul imprints were activated at the same time. Soul explosion. The power of the soul explosion exploded on Long Yao's neck, separating his dragon head from his body. The crown prince of the dragon mansion, Long Yao, who had been talking big just now, died just like that. Early stage king realm, finished in one move. Of course, Crown Prince Long Yao had been seriously injured by the Azura ancient palace before, and he did not expect that Long Yu would appear here to sneak attack him. He was careless and did not take any precautions. Wasn't big brother Long Jiang chasing after Long Yu? Why did this guy suddenly appear here? Before Long Yao died, there was only one question left in his mind. However, no matter how he thought about it, he could not understand it, and he would never be able to understand it in the future because he was already dead. The sudden turn of events made Yu Tongfei, who was beside Long Yao, suddenly stunned. What happened? Long Yao was killed in seconds? When he was in his dragon form, Long Yao's physical body was very strong. At least, Yu Tongfei, who was in the 7 divine realms, could not kill Long Yao in one move. But now, right in front of Yu Tongfei, Long Yao was killed in one move. There was no doubt that the person who attacked was Long Yu. Yu Tongfei had seen the means of space penetration and soul explosion many times, and the fact that Crown Prince Long Yao was killed made Yu Tongfei break out in a cold sweat. This time it was over. Although he did not know how Long Yu suddenly appeared here and launched a sneak attack on Long Yao, the fact was that Long Yao was dead. On this trip, regardless of whether Long Yu died or not, Yu Tongfei, would definitely be buried with Long Yao in the end. Who asked Yu Tongfei to be the only one by Long Yao's side when it happened? Yo, you're still not running? Long Yu's chuckle reached Yu Tongfei's ears, causing him to tremble in fear. This voice was like the voice of the Grim Reaper, frightening. I'll go, don't kill me. The fear in his heart made Yu Tongfei instantly make a decision. Escape. If he stayed here, he would either be killed by Long Yu or be condemned to death by the people of the Long residence. Crown Prince Long Yao was dead. How could he survive? Although the responsibility was not his, someone naturally had to be responsible for Long Yao's death. Long Yao would be responsible? No, of course not. So in the end, it would be Yu Tongfei and the others who would bear the wrath of the master of the Long residence. Not to mention that Yu Tongfei was an outsider and not a Flood Dragon Demon cultivator. Even if it was a junior Flood Dragon Demon cultivator who witnessed Long Yao's death with his own eyes, he would probably be held accountable by the master of the Long residence. Long Yao was a son that the master of the Long residence had high hopes for. The master of the Long residence had a total of 2 sons, and now one of them was killed by Long Yu. It was a pity that when Long Yu chuckled, Yu Tongfei was doomed to not be able to escape. 9 Nether Dragon's Breath. Long Yu spat out a dragon's breath. The power of the 9 Nether Divine characters condensed into a beam of dark brilliance and blasted out, completely drowning Yu Tongfei, who had just turned around. The collection of the Crown Prince of the Long residence should be quite a lot, right? Long Yu took away a space belt from Long Yao's body, removed the soul imprint in it, and then probed it with his mind and found that there were more than 40,000 Shunbi inside. After all, he was the son of the Long residence's master. Long Yao had collected a lot of good things. Although it could not be compared to Prince Yin Yun's, the total value of the things in this space belt was at least half of Prince Yin Yun's resources. Elixirs, combat weapons, martial arts technique, jade slips, and so on, all of different grades of resources added up to at least 50,000 Shunbi. There was even a jade slip that recorded a mid-grade, grand, desolate-level martial arts technique of the Long residence. Chapter 745. Long Yu put away all the things that he had obtained from Long Yao, and with a flash of his figure, he disappeared again. Beside Long Yu, including Yu Tongfei, were mostly young geniuses who had betrayed the Shura Manor to join the Long Manor. However, none of them were Long Yu's match, and were all killed by Long Yu. Geniuses were also judged by whom they were compared to. Although these young geniuses were considered the top of the younger generation in Shura County, they were nothing in the North Snow Empire, let alone compared to Long Yu. Not only did these bastards betray the Azura Manor, they even went to the Azura Manor to mock Shu Chan, General Hui Yuanbai, and the others. This time, they even followed Long Yao to hunt down Long Yu. Killing these people, Long Yu did not have any guilt. Long Yu, hand over your life. At this moment, a loud shout came from afar, and a golden Jiao dragon rushed out from the sea of clouds. It was Long Yao's brother, Long Jiang, who had transformed into his original form and was rushing over. It was clear that Long Jiang had sensed the death of his brother, Long Yao, and had rushed over like a madman. However, it was already too late. All he could see was Long Yu taking the space belt from his brother's body, causing him to burn with rage. However, after Long Yu used the divine concealment technique, Long Jiang, who had not left the divine sense imprint on Long Yu, could not detect where Long Yu had gone. Long Jiang flew down and caught the two halves of the Jiao Dragon's corpse. The terrifying power of the divine runes erupted from his body. He remembered that he had confidently chased after the divine sense imprint he had left behind, but it turned out to be a trap left by Long Yu. The ancient Azura Palace was not something that Long Jiang could blast open. After a while, he felt that something was wrong and hurried back, but it was too late. All he could see was his brother's corpse. Retreat quickly. Long Yu used the shadow evasion, dragon sparrow dance, Merak steps, and various other techniques to return to the ancient Azura Palace at the fastest speed possible. Then, Long Yu activated the Azura Source Stone and activated the space array within the ancient Azura Palace, causing the entire ancient Azura Palace to instantly teleport to the west. When the ancient Azura Palace's space array was fully activated, it could cover the distance of an entire county palace. Even an ordinary Emperor Realm expert would need at least a day to catch up to Long Yu. By that time, Long Yu would have already disappeared from their sight. Previously, he wanted to stay behind to ambush others. As for now, Long Yu had already obtained the benefits. Of course, he would not reveal any flaws. Leaving the North Snow Empire as soon as possible was the right thing to do. In the current North Snow Empire, there were quite a few people who wanted his life. Before he reached the King Realm, the North Snow Empire was a dangerous place for him, even with the protection of Yuan Xin. Moreover, Long Yu did not want to always be under the protection of Yuan Xin. As for what would happen to the Heavenly Mandate Manor after he left, he did not need to worry about it. The Heavenly Mandate Manor belonged to the North Snow Empire. No matter who dared to touch the Heavenly Mandate Manor, they would be the enemy of the North Snow Empire and Yuan Xin. The North Snow Empire was about to be promoted to an empire. At this juncture, who would be stupid enough to offend Yuan Xin? The surrounding countries could not wait to curry favor with Yuan Xin. It was impossible for them to touch the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Of course, it was normal for those forces who had a grudge against Long Yu to cause trouble for the Heavenly Mandate Manor on a daily basis. However, those were small troubles, and Long Yu did not need to worry about them. With the foundation laid by the Red Emperor as the #1 in the illusory realm, the development of the Heavenly Mandate Manor would become unprecedentedly fast. The next time I come back, the Heavenly Mandate Manor must have changed a lot. Long Yu thought to himself and smiled. Then he opened his eyes and found that he had appeared in the sky above another county office to the west of the Lingxua Commandery. The Azura Ancient Palace continued to hide and flew toward the west. Its speed was several times faster than the Azura Spirit Boat. At this speed, he he would be able to leave the North Snow Empire in only 5 or 6 days. However, during these 5 or 6 days, he had to be on high alert at all times. Although it was impossible for ordinary cultivators to catch up with him, there might be some freaks. Moreover, as long as it was a cultivator who had comprehended the power of the divine glyphs of space, they would be better than ordinary people when it came to traveling. It would not be so easy to get rid of them. Longyu did not stop moving toward the west. However, before that, he had to find a way to dispel the divine consciousness of the Dragon General that was attached to the Azura Ancient Palace. The Dragon General was an expert in the late stage of the King Realm. The attachment of the divine consciousness was an innate magical power of the Dragon General. For Longyu, it was naturally difficult to get rid of it. However, if he used the Nether Dragon Blade, it would be a different story. The Nether Dragon Blade originally had the ability to absorb and destroy the soul imprint of cultivators. At this time, when faced with the attachment of the Dragon General's divine consciousness, the solution was the same. This ancient-level top-grade combat weapon was integrated with a wisp of the Joyo Dragon Emperor's consciousness. If he could fully develop it, it would be a great improvement for Longyu. After spending an hour, Longyu got rid of the Dragon General's divine consciousness that was attached to the Azura Ancient Palace. Then, he immediately changed the direction of his flight and headed northwest. During this hour, the Dragon General could sense where Longyu was and where he was heading. However, after Longyu got rid of the Dragon General's divine consciousness, he immediately changed direction so that the Dragon General would not be able to catch up. Trying to search for Longyu in a wide area, with the Azura Ancient Palace's powerful camouflage ability, it was impossible for anyone to catch him. Most importantly, the Divine Battle World was vast. Even if it was just the North Snow Kingdom, an Emperor Realm expert would need to travel at full speed for more than 10 days to pass through. But after changing direction, it seems like the region of Chaotic Rocks is up ahead. The Azura Ancient Palace that Longyu was in was flying high up in the clouds. His gaze passed through the Azura Ancient Palace and looked into the distance. The region of Chaotic Rocks was a place where strange beasts roamed, just like the Spring of Chaos. It was one of the 2 largest gathering places for strange beasts in the North Snow Kingdom. That's fine. Since I'm already here, I might as well go to the region of Chaotic Rocks and take a look. Hopefully, I'll be able to gain something. Of course, I'll need to change my appearance. The trip to the region of Chaotic Rocks shouldn't take more than 3 days. The Dragon General and the others definitely won't expect me to go to the region of Chaotic Rocks. Even if they send people to search, the search won't be too intense. It'll be easy to fool them. Longyu's eyes lit up as he decided on the next step of his plan. When he was at the Spring of Chaos, Longyu had obtained 240 godly rune crystals, which increased his comprehension of the 9 Serenity's godly script to 60%. If he had such a harvest again, he might be able to make a breakthrough and attempt to completely comprehend the 9 Serenity's godly script. Just as Longyu got rid of the Azura Ancient Palace's divine sense and controlled the Azura Ancient Palace to change directions, Longjiang was stunned. Although Longjiang didn't know how Longyu had escaped from the area he was guarding, he assumed that he had relied on the space godly script's power on the giant war soldier. Relying on the divine sense that he had attached to the Azura Ancient Palace, Longjiang clearly knew that Longyu had gone to a place far away from the county government and was heading west. Because of this, Longjiang immediately gathered his men, including the enraged Dragon House Lord, the genius of the Falling Moon House Exine Lawn, and the others, and set off in the direction of Longyu. But now it was broken. The connection between Longjiang and the divine sense he had left behind had been broken, which meant that Longyu had gone missing outside the county government's territory. It would be extremely difficult to catch him again. This kid actually has the ability to teleport, but he left it in the sky above the soaring snow county. He's obviously trying to trick us. The Dragon House Lord was enraged. He waved his hand and said, "Does he really think the Dragon House has no way to find him? Look at the space soldier painting of a universe." The master of the Long House held a scroll in his hand and slowly unrolled it. The scenery within the scroll was incomparably beautiful. Boundless space, divine rune energies were colliding with each other. In the next moment, an illusory scroll appeared in the air in front of the master of the Longhouse. Let's go. This is the place where Long Yu disappeared. The master of the Dragon Mansion stepped into the illusory scroll and disappeared. Let's go, everyone. We must kill that Long Yu. The people of the Dragon House, including Long Jiang, were filled with righteous indignation. They stepped into the illusory painting and prepared to continue their pursuit of Long Yu. Long Yao was dead, and he had died in such a humiliating manner. Long Yu had killed Long Yao and escaped safely. Wasn't it obvious that he was looking down on the Dragon House? Did he really think that the Dragon House was useless? The Heaven and Earth painting was finally taken out. This was an Emperor Realm expert. The space soldier of the Dragon House Lord was an upper desolate rank spatial soldier. With the Dragon House Lord's Emperor Realm cultivation base, he could easily cross the distance of a county government with this space soldier. Let's go too. If we meet that Long Yu, don't hold back. Kill him as fast as you can. A group of cultivators from the Luoyuan Mansion also stepped into the illusory painting and went after Long Yu. The Dragon House was an ally of the Luoyuan Mansion. When the Dragon House was in trouble, the Luoyuan Mansion naturally had to help. What's more, in the Battle of the Red Emperor, Long Yu had defeated Yuxian Lan. This caused the Luoyuan Mansion's results to be very poor. They were squeezed out of the top 10 and did not even get the reward from the Red Emperor. In this way, the degree of hatred everyone in the Falling Moon Mansion had towards Long Yu could be imagined. The Dragon House and the Luoyuan Mansion, two of the 4 mansions of the North Snow, had sent their elites to hunt down a young man. This was undoubtedly a joke. However, who would know? Even if Yu Hanxi knew about this, she had no right to stop the Dragon House and the Luoyuan Mansion. The reason was, Long Yao was dead. The Dragon House could be said to have sent out the Heaven and Earth painting to capture Long Yu, because Long Yu had killed Long Yao. This way Yu Hanxi could not say anything. You are strong, but you can't stop others from avenging their son, right? Emperor Yunduan was an outsider, so it was different. On the other hand, the Long Mansion was one of the mainstay forces of the North Snow Empire. If Yu Hanxi stopped the Long Mansion from capturing Long Yu, it would cause a chill in the hearts of the people. After the Dragon House and the Luoyuan Mansion left, a hidden figure appeared in the clouds high up in the sky, overlooking everything that had happened. What a waste letting that kid escape, this person murmured. It was the eldest son of Emperor Yundi from the Cloud Empire, Yun Jinglei. As an Emperor Realm expert who had comprehended the power of the divine rune of space, if he had made a move just now, he could have hindered Long Yu's escape. However, Yun Jinglei would not make a move until the last moment. Otherwise, wouldn't he offend Yu Hanxi? Chapter 746. With Yun Jinglei's cultivation, all he needed to do was wait patiently in the back, ready to deal the finishing blow. After all, the Long Manor and Luoyuan Manor also had 2 Emperor Realm cultivators. If they really wanted to kill Long Yu, they wouldn't need Yun Jinglei's help. If even the 2 Emperor Realm cultivators couldn't do anything, then Yun Jinglei wouldn't be able to either. At least for now, Yun Jinglei wouldn't be able to catch up to Long Yu if he broke through space and fled. He wouldn't even be able to find a trace of Long Yu. His silhouette flashed, and Yun Jing lay disappeared from the clouds high up in the sky. He headed to the west. At this time, Long Yu was on his way to the domain of rubble. He didn't know that the Long Manor and Luoyuan Manor had already caught up to him through the World Scroll. Of course, it was useless even if they caught up. Who knew which way he went? In order to chase in different directions, the pursuers would need at least a portion of their strength. Moreover, some high-ranked beast crystals could increase one's strength after being absorbed. If they could get their hands on these special beast crystals, then they'd be rich. But for Long Yu's team, they couldn't hunt any special beasts. They could only deal with the normal ones. Beast crystals were a common item in the Shunwu world that could recover the power of divine characters. The major forces in particular definitely had a lot of beast crystals in reserve that they could use in times of war. However, the major forces naturally couldn't hunt beasts in the beast domain themselves. Instead, they bought them from the martial practitioners of the Jianghu. Most of the martial cultivators who were active in the exotic beast domain would sell the exotic beast crystals they obtained. Very few of them would use them for their own use. After selling the exotic beast crystals, the money they earned could be used to buy other pills or combat weapons to increase their strength. Simply put, these Jianghu martial practitioners were just trading their lives for money. However, for Long Yu, his target was the divine rune crystals that might exist. As for ordinary exotic beast crystals, they were of no use to him. Use them for himself? Long Yu's divine characters weren't of the earth attribute, so it was useless to absorb them. Sell them for money? Right now, Long Yu had more than 200,000 Shinbi on him. He didn't need these cheap beast crystals to earn money. Following behind the old man with 7 divine abilities realm and the 2 middle-aged men with 6 divine abilities realm, Long Yu was quite relaxed. Even if he encountered a battle, he did not need to participate. Long Yu only needed to follow the old man and slowly advance into the depths of the domain of rubble. When the 3 of them returned, Long Yu would continue on his own. However, accidents could happen at any time in the domain of rubble, not to mention the fact that the famous Hurricane Bandit had been appearing frequently recently. There are 3 strange beasts in front of us. They are all patrolling teams of 7 divine ability realm. Let's take one each and get rid of them quickly. Very quickly, everyone had entered about 10 miles into the domain of rubble. There were fewer traces of other martial cultivators here, and the patrol teams of the Earth God race's mutated beasts had also begun to appear. 3 7th Thaumaturgy realm beasts. Due to being suppressed in Shenwu world, they weren't that strong, so the old man and the other 2 should be able to deal with them easily. Chapter 747. After stopping the 3 Earth God exotic beasts, they couldn't escape and could only fight to the death. Unfortunately, the strength of any exotic beasts was greatly suppressed in Shenwu world, so they couldn't exert much of their strength and were quickly suppressed by the 3 old men. Try harder, the old man shouted. Lightning flashed and struck the Earth God exotic beast's body. Even though the exotic beast had curled up into a ball, it couldn't resist the terrifying lightning thaumaturgy. Its grayish-brown surface was now charred black. Long Yu had been observing from the side and didn't participate in the battle. This battle allowed him to witness the Earth God exotic beast's fighting style. It turned out that these spherical creatures could harden every part of their bodies into weapons. The most common weapons were whips, then swords. They could even harden 3 to 5 different weapons at the same time to attack their opponents. And these Earth God exotic beasts had extremely strong defenses. Even though the 7th Thaumaturgy realm old man had completely suppressed them, it would still take them a long time to kill them. Long Yu, on the other hand, was very relaxed. He didn't need to do anything and only needed to stand guard for the 3 old men. At the same time, he also observed the Earth God exotic beast's fighting style. About half an hour later, the 3 old men finally dealt with their opponents and killed the 3 Earth God exotic beasts. They also obtained 3 exotic beast crystals, which could be sold for around 60 Shinbi. Selling them for 60 Shinbi was already quite good. After all, that was almost 50,000 North Snow coins, which was enough to buy some Earth-grade cultivation pills in the North Snow Empire. Long Yu naturally didn't care about such a small amount of money. Let's continue forward. I hope we can get more this time. The old man waved his hand at Long Yu and signaled for the group to continue. The other rather bulky middle-aged man seemed to be a bit displeased with Long Yu. Just now, when the 3 of them were fighting with their lives on the line, this brat was just watching from the back. Although the reason why he let Long Yu join the group was so that he could be on guard, the middle-aged man was still displeased with the current situation. Eldarin, after we go back and sell the exotic beast crystals, we'll each get 30%. Giving this brat 10% is already good enough. The middle-aged man glanced at Long Yu and said in disdain, "Since we agreed to split it evenly, then we'll split it evenly among the 4 of us. Don't say any more." Eldarin glared at the middle-aged man and waved his hand, gesturing for the group to move out. The middle-aged man was in a bad mood. He glanced at Long Yu, then coldly snorted and left with Eldarin. Since Long Yu was wearing a mask, the three couldn't see his expression. The middle-aged man thought, "The brat should be grateful for Elder's care, right?" However, in reality, Long Yu's expression was as calm as ever. He didn't take this matter to heart at all. Why would he care about a mere few dozen Shinbi? In fact, it was impossible for Long Yu to return with the three of them. He would definitely choose to travel alone after entering the depths. The four of them continued forward. After experiencing a massacre, Eldarin and the others had entered a combat-ready state. They were ready to face any possible battles that they might encounter. They were already 20 kilometers away from the domain of rubble. Here, the Earth God Clan's strange beasts would appear more frequently. Once they appeared, there would be at least 5 of them. If it was 5 beasts with 7 divine realm, Eldarin and the other 2 could still manage to handle them. However, the patrol teams in the inner regions wouldn't have 5 beasts with 7 divine realm. Instead, they would have 1 beast with 7 divine realm, leading some beasts with 6 divine realm. The strange beasts of the Earth God race could harden 7 types of weapons at the 7 Daos divinity realm to attack or defend. They were several times stronger than those at the 6 Daos divinity realm. "Be careful, stop." All of a sudden, Eldarin stopped behind a pile of rubble. Then, he called out to the crowd and told them to hide. "Eldarin, what did you find?" The burly man asked nervously. "It's a special exotic beast." Eldarin replied in a deep voice. "Special exotic beast?" The burly man's eyes lit up with excitement. "Can we deal with it?" Special exotic beasts were special cases among exotic beasts, compared to human or beast geniuses. If they could kill a special exotic beast, they would be able to obtain some special exotic beast crystals, which were valuable. However, special exotic beasts were very rare. At least, when Long Yu was training at the wellspring, he didn't see a single one. Perhaps the Emperor-level exotic beast in the Wood God Clan's fortress was a special exotic beast, but it was too powerful for Long Yu, so he didn't want to fight it. He didn't expect to encounter a special exotic beast in the rubble zone. It's a gray special exotic beast. It seems to be at 7 path, but there are 2 early-stage king-level guards beside it. "I'm afraid we won't be able to kill it with our strength," Eldarin said solemnly. "If we want to make a move, we'll need someone to lure the 2 early-stage king-stage guards away. Otherwise, we can only give up." When Eldarin said this, the 2 middle-aged men looked at Long Yu. "Can't we just lure the exotic beasts away and let this kid do it? Otherwise, it'll be too easy for him to just watch from the side." The burly middle-aged man said with a grin. "Bullsh asterisk T." Eldarin scolded. "Young man is only at 4-path king level. Wouldn't it be a one-way trip to lure away 2 early-stage king-level exotic beasts? Moreover, do you think the exotic beasts will fall for it with your cultivation? Then are we going to give up?" The burly middle-aged man's face turned pale. "I won't be the bait anyway. It's fine, I'll go." At this moment, Long Yu took the initiative and said indifferently, "I'll be responsible for luring the 2 king-level exotic beasts away. You guys kill the special exotic beast as soon as possible." Eldarin was surprised to hear that. He didn't expect Long Yu to take the initiative to be the bait. "That's great. I admire a brave and responsible young man like you." The burly middle-aged man laughed and patted Long Yu's shoulder. "Go bravely. Don't worry, if you succeed in getting the exotic beast crystal, you won't be mistreated when we return." Although that was what he said, a hint of disdain flashed in the burly middle-aged man's eyes. Return alive? It wasn't easy to lure away 2 king-level exotic beasts. This kid's cultivation was only at 4-path king level. He was dead for sure. There was no way he could survive. However, what did that have to do with the burly middle-aged man? He only needed to cooperate with Elder and to kill the special exotic beast as soon as possible and obtain its crystal. Then, he would make a fortune when he returned. "Young man, you have to think carefully. Luring king-level exotic beasts isn't child's play. You might die here." Eldarin looked at Long Yu and said with a serious expression, Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about me, Elder and Long Yu chuckled and waved his hand. He walked away from the pile of rocks and said, I'm going now. You guys get ready. To Long Yu, dealing with two king-level exotic beasts wasn't difficult at all. Moreover, he knew the weakness of the Earth God tribe's exotic beasts. With a killing weapon like space penetration, wouldn't it be easy to deal with two king-level exotic beasts? Move. Under the complicated gazes of Elder and the other two, Long Yu left the pile of rocks they were hiding in and charged toward the three resting Earth God tribe exotic beasts. Space penetration. Long Yu raised his hand, and the nether dragon blade tore through the void. His target was the gray exotic beast in the middle of the three exotic beasts. Ordinary Earth God tribe exotic beasts were grayish-brown in color. However, that seven-path king-level exotic beast was completely gray in color. It was obviously different from the others. If he could kill it, he would definitely gain a lot. However, this move of Long Yu's was noticed by the other party, and even the two King Realm primary stage exotic beasts reacted immediately. They condensed a thick earthen shield from their spherical bodies, blocking Long Yu's spatial penetration. Even so, the void nether dragon blade still broke through one of the thick earth shield walls and shattered the second earth shield wall. Only then did it lose the momentum to continue moving forward. He broke the defense of the two king-level exotic beasts with a single move. Although it was a hasty defense, it was already very impressive that Long Yu could do it. Of course, the two king-level exotic beasts reacted very quickly. One must know that Long Yao, the crown prince of the dragon residence, didn't have time to react to space penetration. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The two beasts at the initial stage of the King Realm roared and charged towards Long Yu. It was obvious that they had sensed danger from Long Yu. Therefore, they had disregarded everything and attacked Long Yu. From the moment Long Yu broke through their defense, the two exotic beasts knew that they had to work together to kill Long Yu. As for that special beast, it slowly floated up and shrank into a ball. It seemed like it was preparing to shrink its defense when the king-level powerhouse left. It was very smart and knew that someone had lured the king-level powerhouse away, and the target was definitely it. Come on. Long Yu used the nether shadow evasion technique with a single thought. His entire body flew backwards, and in the blink of an eye, he was hundreds of feet away. The two King Realm exotic beasts weren't to be outdone. The power of the earth elemental divine characters erupted with a loud rumble. They transformed into two streamlined figures and chased after Long Yu, quickly disappearing from their original location. This is a good chance. Hurry up and do it. The muscular middle-aged man hiding at the side immediately stood up and said in a low voice, If we miss this chance, we can forget about getting our hands on that special beast. Although Elder and was very worried about Long Yu, now wasn't the time to worry. The only thing he could do was to kill that special beast. He had to kill it as soon as possible. Perhaps when something happened to the special beast, the two king-level exotic beasts would be attracted back. Eldarin thought that this was the only way to save Long Yu's life. Kill. Chapter 748. Long Yu kept thinking about something as he lured away the two king stage exotic beasts. The exotic beasts are not without intelligence. If these two king stage exotic beasts' duty was to protect that special exotic beast, they would not have been lured away by me so easily. There's only one possibility in this situation, and that is that the special exotic beast strength is not inferior to these two king stage exotic beasts. Long Yu speculated this conclusion and knew that he did not have much time left. When he took the initiative to lure these two king stage exotic beasts away, he did not think too much about it. He just wanted to quickly get rid of the thing in front of him. He did not expect to encounter such a thing. But no matter what, since Long Yu had lured these two king stage exotic beasts here, he naturally had to kill them. 9 Underworld Heavenly Light. The 9 Underworld Heavenly Light that had reached the profound realm suddenly spread out, forming a pitch-black fog that shrouded the two king stage exotic beasts. Then, in the pitch-black fog, A black light flashed, and the void nether dragon blade began to attack at an extremely fast speed. Due to the 9 underworld heavenly light, the perception of the 2 king stage exotic beasts became extremely poor. But they were king stage existences after all. After the superposition of the mind realm force, all kinds of weapons hardened by them were extremely destructive. Gusts of wind and sand danced in the air, constantly spreading in all directions, and there were faint signs of dispersing the 9 underworld heavenly light. It must be known that Long Yu's 9 underworld light had become much more stable after reaching the Great Completion realm. Even if Long Yao attacked, it would be difficult to disperse it. But now, in the face of the combined forces of 2 king realm beasts, it was slowly being broken. Of course, if the 2 exotic beasts really broke the 9 underworld heavenly light, there was no need for Long Yu to stay in the domain of rubble anymore. Space penetration. Space penetration. Long Yu did not use any other means. He just used space penetration to continuously assassinate the 2 king stage exotic beasts. Under the erosion of the 9 underworld heavenly light, the 2 exotic beasts were already badly battered. It was naturally difficult for them to defend against Long Yu's sudden attack. The king realm exotic beast that was killed first shrunk into a ball, and a barrier of earth elemental divine runes surrounded it in all directions, turning it into a powerful defensive state. However, this was useless against Long Yu. Soul explosion. Long Yu followed up with a soul explosion after the spatial puncture. The terrifying power exploded, directly shattering the king realm exotic beast's defensive barrier. The Earth God tribe's innate defensive barrier was condensed from Earth elemental divine characters. It was more effective against concentrated attacks. Even if a needle were to pierce it, the defensive barrier would be able to disperse the force of the needle to the entire spherical surface of the defensive barrier. After the attack power was distributed, it would be very difficult for any attack to break the defensive barrier. Therefore, this kind of defensive barrier was most afraid of large-scale killing methods like soul explosion. Although the piercing power of the soul explosion was not as strong as the space penetration, its overall destructive power was stronger, and it was more suitable to be used against the defensive barrier of the Earth God clan. Spatial penetration. Immediately after, Long Yu activated the Void Nether Dragon Blade, causing it to jump out of the void and directly stab the Earth God Tribe exotic beast's vital point. The Earth God Tribe exotic beast looked like a ball, and its defensive ability was the same in all directions, but in fact, it still had a weak point, and every Earth God Tribe exotic beast vital point was in a different position. Long Yu had the method imparted by the Death Envoy, so he knew how to find the Earth God Tribe exotic beast's vital point. Every Earth God Tribe exotic beast, as long as it had not surpassed the Emperor Realm, would have at least one weak point when it shrunk into a ball for defense. Through the soul explosion, Long Yu clearly felt the other party's defensive barrier, and which direction was more vulnerable, so he found the other party's weak point. With a space penetration, he directly pierced through the Earth God Tribe exotic beast. A one-hit kill. Having already killed one, the last one was easy to deal with. A 9 underworld dragon breath destroyed its defensive barrier, followed by a space penetration to kill the last one. King Realm early-stage exotic beasts were suppressed in Shunwu World, and that wasn't just for show. Long Yu's attacks were comparable to a King Realm early-stage cultivator's, so he was still able to break through its defensive barrier and assassinate it through its weak point. If it was a normal King Realm early-stage cultivator, they probably wouldn't be able to kill the Earth God Tribe exotic beast as easily and brutally as Long Yu did. In fact, Shinwu World cultivators had also studied the Earth God Tribe exotic beast's weaknesses, but it wasn't as accurate as what the Death Envoy told Long Yu. More importantly, when the Death Envoy was explaining the characteristics of the exotic beast to Long Yu, he also taught him a martial secret art, balance control. Balance control was a martial secret art. After comprehending it, it could increase one's perception of the flow of energy in their surroundings. This technique couldn't increase the power of any of Long Yu's techniques, but it was extremely beneficial for him in battle. In fact, as long as he trained balance control, to a certain level, he would be able to directly detect invisible existences in his surroundings, extremely heaven-defying. And beyond heaven world, martial secret arts were the secret arts of many big forces and races that weren't passed down. Each and every martial secret art could greatly increase the cultivator's survivability. The Death Envoy didn't know if there were any martial secret arts inheritances in Shenwu world, but even if there were, there wouldn't be too many. After all, even the Geo-Dragon Emperor only had 3 martial secret arts, but that was already enough to increase his battle prowess by several times. One of them was balance control, and now, Long Yu had only touched the surface of this technique. He hadn't even reached the first stage, but he was already able to greatly increase his perception of power, allowing him to quickly find the Earth God tribe's exotic beast's weakness. This undoubtedly showed how miraculous this martial secret art was. Seems like I've grasped it quite well. After Long Yu killed the 2 King Realm exotic beasts, the Death Envoy's sinister laughter reached Long Yu's ears. As long as you successfully train balance control to the first stage, a few extra special meridians will appear in your body. If you want to improve your secret art, you only need to inject heaven and earth's spiritual energy into these meridians. To improve a martial secret art requires a huge amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy. Extra special meridians? Long Yu frowned, but didn't think too much about it. No matter what, he didn't have the mood to focus on martial secret arts, because balance control couldn't directly increase his battle prowess. It could only increase his perception. If he focused on this, he wouldn't even have the qualifications to participate in the Shenwu Imperial Convention in 2 years, of course. The martial secret art was currently a huge advantage for Long Yu, and it was an advantage that was hard for others to notice. He couldn't give up this advantage. As long as there was a chance, he definitely wouldn't give it up. After dealing with the 2 King Realm exotic beasts, Long Yu rushed back as fast as he could, but the scene that appeared in front of him shocked him. In front of the gray special beast, it wasn't just Elder and the other 2 who were fighting it, but as many as 11 people. 11, 7, and 6 Divine Realm martial artists were besieging the gray special beast. But even so, the special beast wasn't at a disadvantage. Instead, there were already 2 human corpses on the field. In other words, there were originally a total of 13 people besieging the special beast, but now 2 had died. What was worse was that because of the fierce battle here, it seemed that the other patrol squads nearby had been attracted over. Retreat. A bearded man with 7 Divine Realm cultivation shouted and led the crowd away. Suddenly, only Elder and the 2 middle-aged men who followed him were left on the field. This made the expressions of Elder and the other 2 change drastically. The bearded man was a small leader of the Hurricane Bandits. He suddenly wanted to snatch the special beast, but found that he couldn't take it down after a long battle. Seeing the other patrol squads gathering, he immediately fled. How could Elder and the other 2 survive? At this moment, Nether Spring explosion, spatial penetration. Long Yu just happened to descend from the sky, and he directly used 2 techniques to attack the gray special beast. The effect of balance control was activated, but to Long Yu's surprise, he couldn't find the special beast's weakness. As expected of a special beast. Impressive. Long Yu sighed and immediately shouted, Eldarin, use your strongest attack to attack the beast. It's about to die. Seeing Long Yu's attack and hearing Long Yu's words, Elder and the 2 middle-aged men were obviously stunned. Immediately afterward, almost without any hesitation, the 2 middle-aged men actually took the opportunity to turn around and flee, completely ignoring Long Yu's shout. The patrol squads in the distance were probably 5 or 6 miles away. 4 King Realm powerhouses, this distance would only take a few breaths' time to reach. If they didn't run now, they wouldn't be able to run later. Since Long Yu appeared to attack the special beast, then they would let Long Yu help them buy time. Even if it was only for a breath's time. Long Yu hadn't expected that those 2 fellows would run away so decisively. But fortunately, there was still Old and who clenched his teeth and stayed behind. His whole body was covered with lightning divine runes. which condensed into a terrifying lightning bolt as thick as a thigh. It instantly descended on the body of that special gray beast. Look, my attack is useless against it. This fellow's defense is too strong. Watching as the unique exotic beast shrank into a gray sphere with astonishing defense, Elder An's attacks were completely useless against it. He couldn't help but feel a little despair. That's right, the power of 7 divine tier attacks couldn't break through that thing's defense. No wonder long he was able to lure away the 2 king stage exotic beasts. Those 2 king stage exotic beasts weren't afraid of any accidents happening to this special exotic beast at all. Eldarin, continue attacking. 2 more attacks, and I'll be able to kill it. Long Yu continued with a shrewd look in his eyes. Trust me, I've already taken care of those 2 king realm beasts. Hearing Long Yu's words, Eldarin couldn't help but be shocked. These 4 divine tier kids took care of those 2 early stage king realm beasts? How was that possible? However, sensing the auras of more and more exotic beasts approaching, Eldarin gritted his teeth. Since it was going to be difficult to escape anyway, he might as well make a last resort and trust this little fellow. Divine tier, lightning, purgatory. Eldarin unleashed another mid-grade divine ability, and it struck the special mutant beast with a resounding boom. This way, Long Yu could feel it even more clearly. Weakness. Chapter 749. At this point, Eldarin had no choice but to follow Long Yu's instructions and continue to attack the special beast. Here it is. When the lightning runes exploded once more and covered the entire surface of the special beast's gray ball, Long Yu finally found the special beast's weakness with his balance control secret technique. God power, dragon breath of the 9 underworlds, spatial penetration. Long Yu unleashed one technique after another. First, he spat out a mouthful of dragon breath of the 9 underworlds, completely shattering the special beast's outer defense barrier. Then, he used the void nether dragon blade to cut through the void and appear directly at its weakness. Boom! A powerful burst of divine runes exploded and directly tore the gray special beast in half. It couldn't be any more dead. This is amazing. Eldarin stared dumbfoundedly at the scene in front of him. Never in his wildest dreams would he have imagined that the defense that so many 7-path transcendent realm experts couldn't break through would actually be shattered by a mere 4-path transcendent realm kid like Long Yu. Not to mention, after this kid shattered the exotic beast's defenses, he directly killed it with a single move. How terrifying was his strength? If Eldarin's guess was right, the special beast's true strength was definitely at the level of the Emperor Path Secret Realm. But even so, it was no match for the 4 Divine Realm brothers. Amazing. Apart from that, Eldarin couldn't think of any other words to describe Long Yu. He had lived for close to 300 years, but he had never seen such a heaven-defying existence. Divine Realm cultivators could easily live up to 200 to 300 years, or even 400 to 500 years. But for someone like Eldarin, his martial potential had already been exhausted. He probably wouldn't be able to step into the Emperor Path Secret Realm until he died of old age. Special Crystal. Long Yui reached into the corpse of the special exotic beast and directly took out a gray exotic beast crystal. He could feel that apart from the dense power of the earth elemental divine runes, it also contained a rich amount of pure spiritual energy. It was like a cultivation pill. If one absorbed the pure spiritual chi within it, they would undoubtedly be able to improve their martial cultivation. The spiritual chi contained in this special crystal far surpasses that of a desolate high-grade elixir. Long Yu found this hard to believe. This was a special crystal that surpassed even a grand desolate grade high-grade pill. If you were to sell it, it would be worth at least tens of thousands of shinbi, and there would be no market for it. Most importantly, absorbing the special crystal of this strange beast didn't seem to have the same attenuating effect as medicinal pills. If one were to consume the same type of pill, Due to the meridians developing a certain resistance, the medicinal effects would be halved when consuming the same pill a second time. However, if one were to absorb this kind of special crystal, there would not be such a reduction. Roughly estimating, the amount of pure spiritual energy contained in this unique exotic beast crystal was at least 10 times that of a great desolate grade high-grade pill. Compared to elixirs, the reason why this special crystal did not have a weakening effect was probably because the spiritual energy within it was extremely pure. The quality of the spiritual energy within elixirs was not very pure, so the more one consumed it, the worse the effect would be. However, this was not the case for the special crystal. After being absorbed by the geniuses of the exotic beast race, the spiritual energy within the crystal would undergo various reactions, turning it into the purest spiritual energy. No matter who it was, they would be able to absorb it directly. Of course, it was still impossible to absorb all of it. Ordinary cultivators would only be able to absorb 30 or 40% of it at most. Only Long Yu, who had relied on the 9 Underworlds Dragon Seal and the Void Nether Dragon Blade, could absorb any kind of spiritual energy, regardless of whether it was elixirs or special crystals. Long Yu could absorb them all with 100% certainty. After obtaining such a good item, there was no way Long Yu would give it to anyone else. The only person he felt a little apologetic towards was Eldarin. However, this was not the time to talk about this. 2 groups of exotic beast patrol teams are approaching, and each team has a King Realm primary stage exotic beast. We can't fight them head-on. We need to leave quickly. Long Yu unleashed his shadow eyes and sensed the situation in the surroundings. He immediately floated down and arrived beside Old and Thank You. Eldarin. Long Yu had already put away the special crystal. He smiled at Eldarin and took out 10,000 Shinbi. I'll keep the special crystal for myself. It's going to be very dangerous here, so you should leave as soon as possible. Also, there's something I need to trouble you with. Eldarin frowned when he saw Long Yu take out 10,000 Shinbi. Why are you treating me like an outsider? You killed the exotic beast, so the special crystal should naturally belong to you. I can't accept this. Also, if there's anything you need, I'll do my best to fulfill it. Eldarin had seen Long Yu kill the exotic beast with his own eyes. How could he not know that this person was a genius? As long as a genius didn't die, he was destined to step into the King Realm, Emperor Realm, or even Great Emperor Realm in the future. Such a person was someone that Olden wanted to befriend. If he accepted the 10,000 Shinbi, it would become a relationship of mutual benefit. If he wanted to befriend Long Yu, it would be a complete failure. After you leave this place, spread the news that Long Yu from the Imperial capital has killed a special beast and is fleeing toward the depths of the domain of rubble. I believe that will attract a lot of people to come after me. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up. His biggest target was naturally the people from the Long Manor and Falling Moon Manor who came after him. If they really did come after him, he would have something good for them to taste. Long Yu. So you're Long Yu. Elder Anne's eyes widened. He didn't expect this masked young man to be the famous Long Yu. Rumor had it that Long Yu's performance in the Red Emperor's illusion realm was astonishing. Not only did he obtain the first place in the Red Emperor's ranking, but he also caught the eye of the Red Emperor. It was very likely that he would be accepted as the Red Emperor's next disciple. He didn't expect to see the legendary Long Yu here. Eldarin was clearly aware that according to rumor, Long Yu slaughtered King Realm experts like dogs. No wonder he was able to kill that unique beast with such ease. There's not much time left. Eldarin, I'll leave it to you. However, Long Yu could not afford to waste any more time here. Next, he had to seize every second. Long Yu threw 10,000 Shinbi to Eldarin and turned to leave. He floated up into the air and laughed heartily. Ha ha, it really is a special crystal. I'm rich now. The purpose of doing this was, of course, to attract more people to hunt him down. After all, what he was going to do next was not something he could handle alone. He needed external help. No matter how much it was, it would still be of some help to his mission. After Long Yu left, Eldarin also left immediately. Although he didn't want to accept the 10,000 Shinbi, it was very useful to him. He might be able to use it to enter the Imperial Path mystic realm and break through the limit of his lifespan. Elder knew that he owed Long Yu a favor. Therefore, he would naturally complete the task that Long Yu asked him to do. He would spread the news that Long Yu had obtained a special crystal. Although he didn't know what Long Yu wanted to do, he didn't think too much about it. He just needed to spread the news according to Long Yu's instructions. Soon, a piece of news spread in the periphery of the realm of rubble with Elder An's appearance. Long Yu had appeared in the realm of rubble. He had obtained a special crystal and was heading towards the depths of the realm of rubble. When the news spread, the people of the dragon residence heard about it. They naturally took action immediately. The expert of the dragon residence, who was at the mid-stage of the king realm, was the first to chase into the realm of rubble. He also sent people back in other directions to inform the others of the dragon residence and the Luiwei residence. They had to catch up with Long Yu and kill Long Yu. Long Yu's roar not only attracted the attention of all the Earth God clan's exotic beasts in the surroundings, but also attracted the attention of many teams of cultivators who were hunting exotic beasts nearby. Even the Hurricane Bandit Squad leader, who had escaped not too far away, chased after Long Yu. That was a special crystal. Each one was worth at least 10,000 Shinbi. Obtaining one was equivalent to working hard for several years. Who could resist such a temptation? Whether it was the Earth God tribe's beasts or the cultivators in the realm of rubble, they all chased after Long Yu. However, they soon found that their target had disappeared. That kid was right in front of them. After rising to the sky, he had completely disappeared. Where did he go? Everyone wondered. However, they soon discovered that a large group of Earth God tribe's beasts had gathered and were flying in a certain direction in the depths of the realm of rubble. Follow these beasts. Maybe they can find traces of that kid. After all, that kid killed a special beast and is the enemy of these beasts. The beasts won't let him escape so easily. Someone suggested. Immediately, a group of people chased after the large group of beasts, flying forward at high speed. Such a situation had happened several times in the past in the realm of rubble. Every time a special crystal appeared, it would set off a bloody storm. Today's scale seemed to be even larger than before. This was because Long Yu had taken the initiative to roar. Of course, it would attract more people. Quick, quick, quick! At this time, Long Yu was hiding in the Azura Ancient Palace. He urged the Azura Ancient Palace to fly towards the depths of the realm of rubble at an extremely fast speed. However, even with the Azura Ancient Palace's invisibility ability, it was still discovered by the Earth God tribe's beasts. A large group of Earth God tribe's beasts followed behind the Azura Ancient Palace. This was the biggest reason why Long Yu did not ride the Azura Ancient Palace in the beginning. Perhaps it was because his relationship with the Juyo Dragon Emperor was very bad. These beasts had a special method to sense the Azura Ancient Palace's existence. Under the full activation of the Azura Ancient Palace, it quickly advanced a few dozen miles. It was already very deep in the realm of rubble. This place was rarely visited by people. Cultivators who had not stepped into the Imperial Path Mystic Realm would basically die if they came to such a deep place. However, for Long Yu, this was not deep enough. He wanted to find the Earth God tribe's fortress and cooperate with the Death Messenger to plunder the divine text crystals in the fortress. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.